1. Bullies come to your door, right? Simulate it hard for me. Hiss, the readers who clicked in are so handsome. Brain storage area, come back and claim after giving a good review. In the first few chapters, the wuxia simulator has a low cost, allowing for almost infinite simulations. Thus, the ways of dying might be a bit strange and varied. After wuxia, it will take off directly. You surnamed Liu, this month's tribute silver is due. Although the head of your escort agency is dead, not a single cent of the money owed can be less. A giant of 8 feet tall and sturdy build stepped over the threshold and entered the Guangsheng escort agency, speaking to a young master sitting under a willow tree in the courtyard, his face filled with sorrow. Inside the escort agency, many people were moving valuable items outwards. Upon seeing the strong man, they scattered in panic, as if encountering some great beast. The person who arrived was none other than the leader of the Black Tiger Gang, Lei Hu. He was one of the famous martial arts masters in Yuyang City. No problem, within 3 days, this junior will definitely gather 50 taels of silver and personally deliver it to the Black Tiger Gang. Liu Chengsheng quickly stood up, bowing and scraping to the newcomer, while inwardly cursing Lei Hu's ancestors for 18 generations. The Biao Tu escort leader and all the escorts were dead, yet they still came to collect silver. Zhou Bapi would kowtow and call the Black Tiger Gang his ancestors if he saw them. Liu Chengsheng was a laid-back youth from the 21st century. His greatest pleasures in life were playing games, reading novels, and chasing after his two-dimensional wives. Who knew that one day, as he was eating hot pot and singing at a roadside stall, a large freight truck suddenly lost control and crashed into him, sending him spiraling into the sky. After a sharp pain, Liu Chengsheng opened his eyes again and found himself transmigrated to a place similar to an ancient feudal setting. Unfortunately, he wasn't transmigrated into a young master of a noble family, nor was he from a fallen scholarly family, but rather a little beggar on the verge of starvation. Heaven knows, the first thing he did after transmigrating was to fight with other beggars for food, which greatly shamed his senior transmigrators. His starting identity was too low, there was nothing he could do. He had been looking for an opportunity to change his fate, otherwise, what awaited him was likely starvation or being beaten to death by other beggars. After several months of wandering in this world, enduring the harsh realities of life, he arrived in Yuyang City. Taking advantage of the Guangsheng escort agency recruiting servants, he successfully joined. Then followed half a year of heavenly days, he no longer worried about food and clothing. Due to his quick wit, he was even taken under the wing of the accountant to work. Afterward, Liu Chengsheng learned the writing of this world while using his memories from his previous life. He quickly showed extraordinary talent in arithmetic. When the previous accountant retired, he naturally took over his position and managed the escort agency's accounts. Since the accountant was a very important position, and Liu Guangsheng happened to have no sons and was a lone wolf, he simply adopted Liu Chengsheng as his adopted son. Liu Chengsheng thus became the nominal young master of the escort agency, with power many times greater than before. He thought his hardships were over, but unexpectedly, on Liu Guangsheng's first escort mission after Liu Chengsheng acknowledged him as his adopted father, Liu Guangsheng suffered a great misfortune. Not only were the escorted goods stolen by the water bandits of Haishui stronghold, but Liu Guangsheng and dozens of escorts from the escort agency all perished in the water. Indeed, one shouldn't casually acknowledge an adopted father. Now he was planning how to escape again. Of course, he had to deal with the immediate trouble first. What 50 taels? 50 taels was before. Now the price has gone up, it's 500 taels. Lei Hu sneered coldly. What, 500 taels? Liu Chengsheng's face instantly turned ugly. So many people from the escort agency died, the only remaining silver had already been paid out as compensation, and it wasn't even enough. They could only let the deceased's family members take valuable items from the escort agency to sell. The reason he said he could raise 50 taels earlier was because Guangsheng Escort Agency had been open for over 10 years and still had some connections in Yuyang City. He might be able to borrow 50 taels by shamelessly asking, but 500 taels truly left him helpless. After all, there aren't that many fools in the world who fall for emotional appeals, they're not easy to fool. Youngster Liu, if I don't get the money in 3 days, don't blame my Black Tiger gang for taking your escort agency's land deed as collateral. Lei Hu finally revealed his fangs. His goal had always been the entire Guangsheng Escort Agency. He looked at Liu Chengsheng, patted his shoulder, and sneered, "You're a smart kid, I'm sure you know what to do." At the same time, a wisp of inner chi entered Lu Changsheng's body through his palm, settling in his heart. Lu Changsheng sensed the abnormality in his body and glared angrily. It's just a small trick to prevent you from running away. As long as you behave, I guarantee your safety. Lei Hu threw his head back and laughed, then walked out, swaggering away. Lu Changsheng saw Lei Hu off expressionlessly. The other people moving things in the escort agency also sighed inwardly. The Guangsheng escort agency was targeted by the fierce Black Tiger gang, and the remaining escorts had also fled. Now only Lu Changsheng was left. With his strength, he probably couldn't protect the escort agency. It wouldn't be long before the Guangsheng escort agency's land deed changed hands. Since the escort agency would eventually be lost, they might as well move all the valuable items now, to prevent them from being left to the Black Tiger gang. So, the people moving things quickened their pace. Lu Changsheng saw their actions and said nothing more. He was a person with a conscience. These people were the family members of the deceased escorts. With the pillar of their family gone, their future lives would not be easy, and they deserved some compensation. Well, his true thought was that if he really clashed with these angry family members of the deceased, he would definitely be the one to suffer. Then, he saw two seemingly frail women carry his bed out of his bedroom, and his eye twitched again fiercely. Suddenly, his body froze in place. A neutral voice sounded in his mind. Ding, detected Yi Zhang anomalous energy, Dao simulator activated. First activation grants 1 free simulation. Subsequent activations require money. The amount of money depends on the host's strength. Dao simulator. Hearing the voice in his mind, Lu Changsheng's expression instantly became very interesting. Wasn't this a cheat he personally made in his previous life? It could be loaded into a Xuanwan game called Immortal Path. As long as he kept simulating, he could continuously raise the realm of the game characters in Immortal Path. At that time, he used this simulator for less than a year and defeated various powerful players in Immortal Path, dominating the entire game world. He didn't expect it to transmigrate with him. He wondered if it still had this function in this world. As soon as he thought of this, his breathing immediately quickened. Would you like to use the free simulation attempt? Yes. Bullies coming to cause trouble, huh? Give me a fierce simulation. Lu Changsheng stared intently at the lines of text appearing before him. More accurately, they appeared in his mind, as he could see them even with his eyes closed. Simulation begins. 1 day later, unwilling to hand over the escort agency, you found the Wang family, the foremost family in Yuyang City. You sold the Guangsheng escort agency's land deed for 3,000 taels of silver and spent 1,000 taels to hire a Wang family expert to remove the inner chi Lei who had left in your body. The next day, being cautious, you took the Wang family's carriage to the Mixed Origin Martial Hall. After paying 50 taels in tuition, you became an outer sect disciple of the Mixed Origin Martial Hall. 2. Dedicate yourself to martial arts and temper your body to its peak. On the 3rd day, the senior brother of the Mixed Origin Martial Hall officially began teaching you body tempering martial arts, Mixed Origin Hand. You began to diligently cultivate Mixed Origin Hand, spending all your time on cultivation except for eating and sleeping. Because you were a disciple of the Martial Hall, Lei Hu did not dare to trouble you. 3 months later, you still had not achieved initial mastery of Mixed Origin Hand, and the Mixed Origin Martial Hall expelled you. That night, people from the Black Tiger gang found you. Lei Hu used Black Tiger Fist and killed you with 1 punch. You died. Simulation ended. You can retain one of the following. 1. Your cultivation realm at 17 years old. 2. Your cultivation experience at 17 years old. Is my martial arts aptitude that bad? I couldn't even achieve initial mastery in 3 months. Lu Changsheng's expression was a bit strained. His actions in the simulator were the same as his actions in reality. He would never suffer a silent loss, directly selling the escort agency's property to join the Mixed Origin Martial Hall. He had also planned it this way in his mind. He just hadn't expected his martial arts aptitude to be so poor that he couldn't achieve initial mastery of Mixed Origin Hand in 3 months, resulting in his expulsion and subsequent killing by the resentful Lei Hu. I choose to. After some thought, Lu Changsheng made his choice. Subsequently, a large amount of cultivation experience related to Mixed Origin Hand flooded into Lu Changsheng's mind. These were the results of Lu Changsheng's 3 months of effort in the simulator. After reviewing these experiences, Lu Changsheng let out a long breath. Perhaps it wasn't that his aptitude was too poor, but rather that his martial arts foundation was too weak. He had been begging for a long time, and his body was in a state of chronic hunger, leading to a severe depletion of qi and blood. Although he had made some recovery in the half a year since coming to Guangsheng Escort Agency, he was still far behind those who had been training their bodies since childhood. This led to very slow body tempering progress. If it weren't for the simulator, relying solely on his own cultivation, he would probably have reached the limit of body tempering and would never be able to refine internal energy in his lifetime. First simulation complete. Do you want to recharge to continue simulating? Recharge. Lu Chengsheng took out the few remaining copper coins he had, which were his dinner money for the night, but found that the simulator did not respond at all. Damn it, I don't know how much I need to recharge to simulate once. Don't turn into a big shot to fleece me. Seeing that the simulator didn't accept copper coins, Lu Chengsheng's heart fluttered. He used to directly use spirit stones in the game for simulation. In this world, there were only vague legends of immortals, and it might even be a low martial world. If he could only use spirit stones, he would be completely lost. I haven't even stepped onto the immortal Dao yet, not even a martial artist. It shouldn't require spirit stones for recharging, right? Lu Chengsheng shook his head. Since the system didn't accept copper coins, he would try silver next. The setting sun was like blood. Lu Chengsheng watched the moving team leave. He then glanced at the few Black Tiger gang scouts still watching from a distance, and then, as if nothing had happened, he went to a nearby shop to eat 2 large bowls of wontons before returning to Guangsheng Escort Agency. Returning to the empty house, Lu Chengsheng felt a bit speechless. What did it mean to be dirt poor? This was dirt poor. Besides the walls and tiles, there was nothing. But it didn't matter. He had already planned to sell this property anyway. It was all his cheap adopted father's anyway. The main point was that a son wouldn't feel bad selling his father's land. In the middle of the night, the bright moon hung high. A figure slipped out of Guangsheng Escort Agency, wandered around, and after confirming that the Black Tiger gang thugs had left, the figure came to the willow tree in the courtyard and began to dig. After digging about 3 feet deep, a wooden box appeared. Lu Chengsheng opened the wooden box and saw the gleaming silver inside, a smile appearing on his face. He then immediately restored the soil under the willow tree to its original state before taking the wooden box back to the house. This was the property he had secretly saved. Having not been able to eat enough for several months after first arriving in this world, how could he not understand the importance of money? After the news of the complete annihilation of the escort agency's escorts came back, he, as the accountant and young master, immediately hid a small portion of the escort agency's silver, about 20 taels, to avoid starving to death in the future. He didn't expect it to come in handy so soon. System, recharge 10 taels first. As Lu Chengsheng's thought emerged, all the silver in the wooden box disappeared, and 10 gold coins appeared in the simulator. Silver can indeed be recharged. Lu Chengsheng's heart settled. It seemed that copper coins were too low end, and it wasn't that the system didn't accept money. Host detected a recharge. Do you want to continue simulating? Each simulation consumes 1 gold coin. Continue simulating. In the previous simulation, his mixed origin hand was only a hair's breadth away from initial mastery. This time, with 3 months of cultivation experience, he wanted to see how far he could go. Simulation begins. On the second day, you sold the deed to Guangsheng Escort Agency to the Wang family, obtaining 3,000 taels of silver, and spent 1,000 taels of silver to hire a master from the Wang family to remove the internal energy ley who had left in your body. That day, you took the Wang family's carriage, first went to the Heavenly Treasure Pavilion to purchase a large amount of body tempering pills, and then proceeded to the Mixed Origin Martial Hall to seek apprenticeship. With money paving the way, you successfully became a disciple of the Mixed Origin Martial Hall and began to cultivate Mixed Origin Hand. Half a month later, with the help of body tempering pills, you made rapid progress, successfully achieved initial mastery of Mixed Origin Hand, and became a body tempering early stage martial artist. Your cultivation speed astonished the hall master, Shen Kai. He regarded you as a genius and took you as his personal disciple, also imparting a medicinal bath formula to accelerate body tempering. Of course, you had to pay for the medicinal herbs yourself. With body tempering pills combined with the medicinal bath, your martial arts progress advanced by leaps and bounds. 3 months later, your Mixed Origin Hand reached major achievement, and you smoothly became a body tempering middle stage martial artist. Hall Master Shen Kai passed down the iron cloth shirt to you, allowing you to continue body tempering. But at this point, your money was exhausted, and your cultivation speed suddenly decreased. Half a year later, your iron cloth shirt still hadn't achieved initial mastery, which greatly puzzled Hall Master Shen Kai. At this time, the senior brother exposed your previous use of body tempering pills for cultivation, causing Shen Kai to be greatly disappointed in you. Although body tempering pills can accelerate body tempering progress, they do so by consuming the body's potential. From then on, Shen Kai paid little attention to you, and the senior brothers and disciples in the hall also mocked you. At 18 years old, you finally achieved initial mastery of iron cloth shirt. At 26 years old, with your persistent cultivation, you broke through to the body tempering late stage, while several senior brothers who entered at the same time as you had already refined internal energy, and you, the former genius, became a laughingstock. At 35 years old, you ignored outside gazes and focused on your martial arts, finally breaking through to the body tempering peak, only one step away from internal energy. At 38 years old, because you had previously consumed body tempering pills, your potential was exhausted, making it difficult to refine internal energy. So you left the mixed origin martial hall and chose to become a guard for the Wang family. At 40 years old, you, who thought you would live a peaceful life, unexpectedly, on a chance occasion, followed the second young master of the Wang family into the highly exclusive underground black market auction in Yuyang City. 3. In the inner Qi realm, kill the Thunder Tiger with 3 swords. Open black lens bracket. The black market auction is beyond the reach of ordinary people. It features various precious items for auction, and occasionally, Qi-gathering medicinal pills that help people break through to the inner Qi realm appear, but their exorbitant prices make you hesitate. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After learning there was hope to break through to the inner Qi realm, you began doing shady private jobs for the second young master of the Wang family. You gained more and more of his regard, earning countless silver. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 52, you finally accumulated enough wealth and successfully bid for a Qi-gathering medicinal pill at the black market auction. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You consumed the inner Qi medicinal pill and forcibly broke through to the inner Qi realm. However, because your Qi and blood were already withered at this point, less than half a year after forcibly breaking through with the medicinal pill, old injuries flared up, causing you to bleed from all 7 orifices and die. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You are dead. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Simulation ended. You can retain one of the following. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 1. 52-year-old cultivation realm. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 2. 52-year-old cultivation experience. Close black lens bracket. As expected of me, my Tao of martial arts heart is firm. I broke through to inner Qi in just 2 simulations. Lu Chengsheng gave a thumbs up to his simulated self, then chose one. Then, a large warm current appeared in his body, continuously strengthening it, and a large amount of filth was expelled from his body. These were all byproducts of the body tempering process. Afterward, Lu Chengsheng discovered a wisp of inner Qi, as thin as an ant, in his dantian. Lu Chengsheng came to the courtyard, channeled that wisp of inner Qi into his hand, and slapped the half-human tall practice stone in the courtyard. Crack! Immediately, a 1-inch deep palm print appeared on the incredibly hard stone. Lu Chengsheng then used the force channeling technique of mixed origin hand, slapping 4 or 5 more times, and the practice stone quickly shattered into pieces on the ground. Is this the strength of an inner Qi realm martial artist? Lu Chengsheng murmured softly. Now, in this world where human lives are like weeds, he finally had a sliver of self-preservation. He was no longer an ant to be crushed at will. Although his strength had increased significantly, there was an urgent problem that still needed to be dealt with. Lu Chengsheng lowered his head and glanced at his chest, then returned to the house. Closing the door, Lu Chengsheng slowly concentrated his mind, channeling the wisp of inner Qi within his body to flush out the wisp of inner Qi left by Lei Hu. Lei Hu, as one of Yuyang City's 3 local tyrants and the leader of the Black Tiger Gang, had a strength at the inner Qi middle stage. Even Lu Guangsheng, who was also in the inner Qi realm, had to bow to him. The quality of the wisp of inner Qi he left behind was clearly much higher than Lu Chengsheng's inner Qi, but it was like water without a source, gradually consumed by Lu Chengsheng's regenerative inner Qi. After about 15 minutes, Lu Chengsheng, drenched in sweat, slowly exhaled a turbid breath, his expression much more relaxed. He had finally cleared out the inner Qi left by Lei Hu. It was like defusing a ticking time bomb and also saved him 1,000 taels of silver. Even clearing out the inner chi left by Lei Hu was so difficult, trying to find trouble with Lei Hu was clearly still far from enough in terms of strength. It seems he would have to continue simulating. At the very least, he couldn't be unable to defeat Lei Hu. A hint of determination flashed in Lu Changsheng's eyes. Open black lens bracket detected that the host's strength has increased to the inner chi realm. One simulation now costs 10 gold. Currently, you have 9 gold remaining. Do you want to recharge? Close black lens bracket. This is too dark, damn it, it increased tenfold all at once. When I designed the simulator, it wasn't this expensive. Lu Changsheng's face turned as dark as charcoal. Could this simulator have been modified by someone from Tencent? Why did it become so exploitative? Lu Changsheng, with a dark expression, recharged 2 taels of silver, making it 10 gold, leaving him with only 8 taels of silver in cash. This is my only simulation chance left. I must endure, and absolutely not die inexplicably. Even if my aptitude isn't great, as long as I live a bit longer, my strength will still improve significantly. Lu Changsheng took a deep breath and mentally tapped to start the simulation. Open black lens bracket simulation begins. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket day 1. Feeling your strength was insufficient, you sold the Biaoju security company deed to the Wang family, gaining 3,000 taels of silver. Then, you went to Mixed Origin Martial Hall, hoping to develop discreetly there. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Shen Kai, the curator of Mixed Origin Martial Hall, seeing that you were an inner chi realm martial artist, believed you already had a master, so he stated that he would only teach you an ordinary martial skill and not the core martial skills. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Although you were displeased, you still stayed to avoid harassment from the Black Tiger gang. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Day 2. You believed speed was your weakness, so you learned the movement martial skill 8 steps catching cicadas. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 20, your inner chi progress was slow, but 8 steps catching cicadas had achieved minor achievement. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 24, your 8 steps catching cicadas reached major achievement, but your inner chi made no progress, so you left Yuyang City, planning to seek breakthrough opportunities outside. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 10 Li outside the city, Lei Hu found you and attacked you. You exchanged a few moves with Lei Hu, and realizing you were not his opponent, you successfully escaped using 8 steps catching cicadas. Close black lens bracket. Seeing this, Lu Changsheng sighed in his heart. This Lei Hu truly had a persistent wicked heart. If he wasn't bad at movement martial skills, he would have died at his hands in this last simulation. If he could ever defeat Lei Hu, he would definitely not let him live. Open black lens bracket. At 26, you continued to wander the Zhonggu. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 27, you arrived in Juyu City and met a Zhonggu friend here. Soon after, you became sworn brothers. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. During a treasure hunting expedition, you sacrificed yourself for your brother, but your brother stabbed you twice in the back. Fortunately, your movement martial skill was excellent, and you successfully escaped despite being severely wounded. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 28, you were recovering from injuries. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 29, you recovered from your injuries and unexpectedly encountered your former brother. You expressionlessly cut him down. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 32, weathered by hardships, you arrived in Qingzhou City. You accidentally heard that there was a Saber Dao master in the city named Golden Saber Master, who was living in hardship because his cultivation had been crippled. So you brought 500 taels of silver to his door to seek apprenticeship and successfully became his disciple. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 35, for 3 years, you diligently cared for the elderly and frail Golden Saber Master, making him very satisfied. He decided to impart all his knowledge to you. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. He taught you his unique technique, Golden Lightsaber Technique. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 36, you diligently cultivated the Golden Lightsaber Technique. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 37, Golden Saber Master died of old age, and you buried him in the back mountain of Qingzhou City. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 42, your saber technique reached major achievement. You went out to challenge others, and few in the inner Qi realm were your match. The people of Qingzhou City respectfully called you the Little Saber King. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 43, you returned to Yuyang City, killed Lei Hu in 3 strikes, and disbanded the Black Tiger Gang. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 45, you noticed your qi and blood gradually withering, and your strength began to decline. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. So you decided to avenge your adoptive father Lu Guangsheng and the various dart escorts during your peak strength. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. On a dark and windy night, you infiltrated Haishui stronghold and ambushed the Haishui stronghold's great leader. The Haishui stronghold's great leader had cultivated a hard qigong, so he was only severely wounded. He then summoned other bandits, who ganged up on you and beat you to death. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You are dead. Close black lens bracket. Unexpectedly, in over 20 years, my martial Dao realm barely progressed at all. It seems that with this body's talent, inner Qi early stage is the limit. Fortunately, my simulated self found another path and learned a powerful saber technique, otherwise there would truly be nowhere to cry. Open black lens bracket. Simulation ended. You can retain one of the following. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 45-year-old cultivation realm. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 45-year-old cultivation experience. Close black lens bracket. Of course, I choose to. Lu Chengsheng didn't hesitate at all. As the designer of the simulator, he was naturally very clear about the functions of the 2 options. Cultivation realm is similar to a game rank. Whether it's qi cultivation or body tempering, as long as the rank is increased, you choose one. And some martial skills, divine abilities, alchemy, artifact refining, including combat experience, things involving skills and experience, are all in cultivation experience. If you want to improve them, you definitely choose to. 4. You want to escape, have you asked me? Countless years of golden lightsaber technique cultivation experience, including so many years of combat experience, appeared in Lu Chengsheng's mind, making him instantly a master of saber techniques. Besides the golden lightsaber technique, a large amount of experience in the 8 steps catching cicadas light body skill also appeared. In the simulator, he had spent over 20 years, mastering this light body skill to perfection, and it had saved his life twice. Lu Chengsheng tapped his foot, and his figure appeared at the other end of the room. His speed was more than 10 times faster than before. Of course, what he was most formidable at now was saber techniques. The awkward thing was, he didn't have a saber in his hand at the moment. But that didn't stump him. He went to the woodshed and came back with a chopping saber. This saber was rusty and probably not worth much to the victims' families who had scraped the ground clean during the day, so it had survived. But for Lu Chengsheng, it was enough. He wielded the golden lightsaber technique, and in the dark night, streaks of crisscrossing golden lines immediately appeared, truly beautiful, yet within their beauty, they contained suffocating killing intent. The golden lightsaber technique had no other special features. It had only one: speed. Blazingly fast. After a long while, the streaks of golden lines dissipated. Lu Chengsheng nodded with satisfaction. He looked up and saw dark clouds obscuring the moon. The weather tonight is quite good. Lu Chengsheng smiled faintly. A dark moon and high winds make for a killing night. It was time to deal with certain troubles. The Black Tiger Gang's lair was located on Tiger Roar Street in the south of Yuyang City, covering an area of over 20 acres. It was deep into the night, and most of the area was dark, with only the inner hall still brightly lit. Inside the inner hall, in the council chamber, Lei Hu and all the core cadres were present. Lei Hu tapped his fingers on the table, his voice low as he said, "I've received inside information, that item is still with the Wang family. What the Guangsheng escort agency sent out before was just a fake. The news has already been reported, and it won't be long before the holy cult sends people over. During this period, keep a tight watch on the Wang family, especially for any unfamiliar faces entering. That item is something our holy cult must obtain. If it gets lost right under our noses, be careful that the holy cult's envoy will flay us alive." Gang leader, don't worry. The lean headman, Zhang Gan, patted his chest and said, "Don't you know how the brothers do things, gang leader? Even if a fly gets in, we'll figure out if it's male or female." Hearing this, the others also laughed. At this moment, someone else asked, "I heard that the gang leader went to the Guangsheng escort agency today. That piece of land is very valuable. Why didn't the gang leader take that land? Lei Hu said, with a sense of strategy, don't worry, I've tampered with that Lu family kid, he won't escape my grasp. Besides, right now, the holy cult's business is paramount. Don't make any noise in other areas to avoid alerting them. As soon as the Wang family's matter is settled, the Guangsheng escort agency's land will naturally be a sure thing for our Black Tiger gang. The gang leader is truly meticulous. With the gang leader here, our Black Tiger gang becoming the largest gang in Yuyang City is only a matter of time. The others flattered him one after another, which Lei Hu greatly enjoyed. Being able to build the massive Black Tiger gang from scratch, he was naturally very confident in his own abilities. Tap, tap, tap. Just then, footsteps suddenly appeared outside the council chamber. Didn't I say not to approach here? Lei Hu frowned and looked towards the door, thinking it was one of the gang members. Soon, a young man carrying a chopping saber appeared at the doorway. Oh, isn't this the young master of the Guangsheng escort agency? Coming to our Black Tiger gang in the middle of the night with a chopping saber, are you here to perform acrobatics? The headman Zhang Gan said in a sarcastic tone. Everyone burst into laughter, looking at Lu Changsheng as if he were a clown. I'm not interested in performing acrobatics, but I am very interested in the matter of the Wang family you just spoke of. Could you tell me more about it in detail? The young man said with a smile. Lei Hu's face instantly darkened. You heard everything we just said. Lu Changsheng nodded. I heard most of it, but not all. On the other side, the headman Zhang Gan stood up and laughed heartily. Gang leader, don't worry. This kid is probably here to die because dozens of people died at the escort agency and he's lost his mind. I'll grant him his wish. With that, Zhang Gan flashed forward, his right hand forming an eagle claw, and he fiercely grabbed towards Lu Changsheng's neck. This was Zhang Gan's famous skill, eagle claw hand. With one claw, even a stone could be crushed. Everyone could already envision Lu Changsheng's neck being twisted off. Lu Changsheng remained motionless, as if he had been scared silly. Die. Zhang Gan's face was filled with mockery. However, just as his eagle claw was about to touch Lu Changsheng's neck, a golden line flashed before his eyes. Then, his entire body was sent flying backward like a broken rag, smashing onto the long table in the council chamber, breaking the long table in half. Zhang Gan propped himself up, looking at Lu Changsheng with difficulty, his eyes filled with deep shock and unwillingness, and then he collapsed and died instantly. Only then did everyone look closely, discovering a wound that ran from Zhang Gan's left shoulder to his right leg, almost splitting him in half. Everyone gasped. The most crucial thing was that no one on the scene, including Lei Hu, saw how Lu Changsheng made his move. Good kid, I didn't expect you to hide such a saber technique. Another headman with a scar on his forehead said to the others, he's a tough opponent, brothers, let's go together. With that, the remaining few, except for Lei Hu, surrounded Lu Changsheng, unleashing all their unique moves at once. Mountain shaking fist, iron sand palm, 12 roads tan leg. ... Too slow. Lu Changsheng, at the center of the attack, moved as if strolling leisurely, casually wielding the chopping saber, and golden lines appeared one after another in the void realm. Before the few could even get close, a line of blood appeared on their throats. The few clutched their throats, never seeing how Lu Changsheng had made his move until their dying breath. Seeing his gang's core members being slaughtered like chickens by Lu Changsheng, Lei Hu's face finally changed dramatically, and he shouted, guards. But there was no reaction from outside. No need to shout. No one will come no matter how much you shout. Before I came here, I naturally dealt with the riff-raff outside. You little brat are seeking death. The Black Tiger roared, his moves relentless, but his body was shrinking backward, quickly crashing through the window, attempting to escape. He wasn't a fool. Based on Lu Changsheng's few unfathomable saber moves just now, he knew he couldn't deal with him. Although he didn't know why Lu Changsheng had become so powerful, the most urgent task was to save his own life first. Where there's life, there's hope. Trying to escape? Did you ask me first? Lu Changsheng grinned. His feet moved, and his entire being instantly became an afterimage, his speed actually faster than Lei Hu's. This was precisely the light body skill, 8 steps catching cicadas. 5. The golden belt for murder and arson. Lei Hu had just escaped the meeting hall when Lu Changsheng caught up to him. Seeing that he couldn't escape, Lei Hu immediately launched a Black Tiger digging heart attack towards Lu Changsheng. Lu Changsheng's expression remained unchanged. With a casual swing of his saber, he severed Lei Hu's entire arm, causing him to scream incessantly. In the simulator, 20 years later, Liu Changsheng could defeat Lei Hu in 3 strikes. Naturally, the current Lei Hu had no ability to resist in front of him. Finally, Liu Changsheng made another cut, gashing a large wound on Lei Hu's thigh, and then stepped on Lei Hu's head. If you want to live, tell me everything you know. Lei Hu finally became afraid and shouted, "It's not my fault. The Wang family killed everyone in your escort agency. Half a month ago, the Wang family, by a stroke of opportunity, obtained a peerless cultivation technique that pointed directly to the Grandmaster realm. Because the news leaked, to divert trouble, they deliberately made your Guangsheng escort agency escort a fake item to the capital city 1,000 li away. The Wang family is your enemy." Upon hearing this, Liu Changsheng's expression turned somewhat grim. Above inner qi is innate. Only at the late stage of innate is one qualified to be called a master. Only at the peak of innate is one qualified to be called a grandmaster. Transporting such a rare item, even if Guangsheng escort agency had 1,000 heads, it wouldn't be enough for them to be beheaded. It was also fortunate that in the simulator, the Wang family showed no abnormalities, and even had some friendship with Liu Changsheng. He had thought the Wang family was kind, but now it seemed they acted harmless to avoid drawing attention with unusual reactions. Indeed, one's heart is separated by a belly. What's this, holy sect, you just mentioned? The holy sect is what Jianggu people often call the demonic sect. I am an outer sect disciple of the demonic sect. Please let me go, little brother, otherwise, when the holy emissary arrives, you'll only be buried with me. Killing me is completely not worth it. You dare to threaten me, do you? Liu Changsheng gave a cold smile, stepped down hard, crushing Lei Hu's head into the dirt, making him let out another pig-like scream. All right, take me to your Black Tiger Gang's treasury, and I can spare your life, Liu Changsheng said, releasing his foot. Hearing this, Lei Hu quickly scrambled up, ignoring his injuries, and led Liu Changsheng northeast to a utility room. He then descended a secret passage and soon arrived in front of a stone door. The few gang members guarding there were greatly shocked to see Lei Hu's miserable state. "Open the treasury," Lei Hu said to them. The small leader among them dared not ask further and quickly pulled out a key to open the door. Rumble. The stone door slowly opened, revealing a dazzling array of treasures inside. "According to our agreement, can I leave now, little one?" Lei Hu's face showed a fawning smile. But what greeted him was a flash of a saber. Lei Hu clutched his profusely bleeding neck and collapsed, dying with his eyes wide open. "It was the saber that killed you. What does that have to do with me, Liu Changsheng?" Liu Changsheng said, shaking his head. The other few people, seeing their gang leader dead, dared not linger and immediately fled. However, before they could run a few steps, Liu Changsheng caught up and dealt with them one by one with his saber. Afterward, Liu Changsheng entered the treasury. There were quite a few things inside. There were 2 large boxes full of silver. There was also a small box of gold. Besides that, there were some aged medicinal herbs, martial arts secret manuals, and antiques. Liu Changsheng, who had worked as an accountant, also found an account book inside. He casually flipped through it and discovered that the Black Tiger Gang had to pay 10,000 taels of silver to the demonic sect every year. No wonder the Black Tiger Gang usually extorted so much. The gold and silver in the treasury were all those that had not yet been presented as tribute this year, which conveniently benefited Liu Changsheng. Liu Changsheng directly recharged the silver, and the 2 boxes of silver immediately became empty. Ding, recharge successful. Balance is 3,127 money. Liu Changsheng smiled. So much money was enough to raise his strength to a new level. Indeed, killing and arson bring wealth. It's faster to get silver by robbing. If he had to earn it himself, who knows how long it would take to earn so much money, not to mention there was also a box of gold and other valuable treasures in the treasury. Next, Liu Changsheng wanted to recharge the gold as well, but found that gold could not be recharged. It seemed it needed to be exchanged for silver first. After that, Liu Changsheng packed all the valuable items from the treasury into boxes. He then went and searched all the bodies outside, finding over 100 taels of silver and 600 taels of silver notes. He recharged 100 taels of silver, kept the other dozen taels of loose silver for his own use, and put away the silver notes. Recharge successful. Balance is 3,227 money. Looting corpses is indeed a good habit. The transmigration senior did not deceive me. Lu Chengsheng smiled as he carried the lamp oil, pouring it over the Black Tiger Gang's buildings. The Black Tiger Gang was untouchable, and their lair was surrounded by wide streets, so there was no need to worry about burning other people. They say the demonic sect is powerful, the most mysterious sect in Zhao. I'll burn the Black Tiger Gang's lair to the ground with one fire. Let's see how you find me then. With that, Lu Chengsheng took out a fire starter and threw it onto the lamp oil. Instantly, the flames roared and spread rapidly. The hundreds of bodies inside were also buried in the inferno. Looking at the raging fire, Lu Chengsheng sighed in his heart. Indeed, he was a good person with a conscience. After killing people, he even offered them free cremation. There were not many people left in the world as conscientious as him. But then again, on his first outing, he killed hundreds of people. Did he have some kind of serial killer gene? Bah, bah, bah. This was eradicating evil forces. Even if he did, it was a gene of justice. After muttering to himself for a while, Lu Chengsheng quietly departed with a small box of gold and a large box of valuable items. Fire! Quick, put out the fire! Many sleeping commoners nearby were awakened by the sound of the burning fire and rushed out of their doors. Huh, that's the Black Tiger Gang's lair. Looks like there's no need to put out the fire. But, why is the Black Tiger Gang not reacting at all? Could it be that they were all annihilated? The onlookers all found it unbelievable. Seeing the Black Tiger Gang's lair remain completely silent, with only the crackling sound of the burning buildings. A deep chill rose in everyone's hearts. It seemed something truly major had happened. And as the culprit of all this, Lu Chengsheng had already returned to Guangsheng Escort Agency. As per usual, he buried the gold and the box of valuable items under the large willow tree. Having just plundered the Black Tiger Gang, he wasn't short on money. He still had 600 taels of silver notes in his pocket, which he would take out and sell when he needed them later. Having just completed a major operation, Lu Chengsheng had no desire to sleep. His strength was still too weak. The escort agency's matter this time involved the Wang family, who possibly had innate experts, and an even more formidable demonic sect. He should continue with the simulator. Having obtained so much money this time, he wanted to see if he could directly break through to innate. If he could become an innate expert, he would be considered a significant figure in the vast Zhonggu. Although the world was big, he could go anywhere. And the grudges of the entire escort agency could be settled one by one. 6. The Dragon King Gang and the Demon Cult. Current balance, 3,227 gold. Do you wish to start the simulator? Each use costs 10 gold. Yes. Simulator started. Day 1. The news of the Black Tiger Gang's demise shook Yuyang City. The city was filled with trepidation, and the other two local gangs significantly reined in their activities. Day 2. You stayed cooped up in Guangsheng Escort Agency. Day 3. A woman in a red dress appeared before you and asked if you were willing to join the demonic sect. Because you didn't want to live in the shadows from then on, you refused. She gently struck out with a palm, and you instantly turned into a man of fire. You died. Simulator ended. You may keep one of the following options. 1. 17-year-old cultivation realm. 2. 17-year-old cultivation combat experience. The demonic sect people actually came looking for me so quickly. Lu Chengsheng's face was extremely grim. He had already destroyed the bodies and traces, but he didn't expect the demonic sect to still find him. He didn't know how the demonic sect found him. Was it based on qi? Or subtle clues? No matter what, in the next simulation, he would flee far away and see how the demonic sect people could still find him. Dying in 3 days in this simulation was a record. Lu Chengsheng gave a self-deprecating smile and casually chose option 1, feeling an extremely faint increase in his internal energy, which was beyond his expectation. Soon, he started the next simulation. Simulator started. Day 1. The news of the Black Tiger Gang's demise shook the entire Yuyang City, and the city was filled with trepidation, with all forces in the city acting low-key. That afternoon, you bought a good horse and left Yuyang City with a small box of gold. You planned to leave Cloud River and head to Qingzhou City. Half a month later, at the Yuelai Inn in Qingzhou City, you accidentally heard news of demonic sect members appearing in Yuyang City. 3 more days later, the Dragon King Gang's 7th elder abducted you from the Yuelai Inn in the middle of the night and tortured you to confess the whereabouts of the great antiquity dragon elephant art. You were completely bewildered by this, so the Dragon King Gang's 7th elder killed you with a palm strike. You died. Simulator ended. You may keep one of the following options. 1. 17-year-old cultivation realm. 2. 17-year-old cultivation combat experience. Damn it, I can't even escape. Is the great antiquity dragon elephant art the peerless cultivation technique that the Wang family obtained? But why did the Dragon King gang suddenly appear? Lu Changsheng had a look of utter confusion. The Dragon King gang is one of the 7 major gangs in Zhao, controlling nearly half of Zhao's water transport. The gang master, Shangding Tian, is an unparalleled grandmaster expert in the world. The Dragon King gang is an undisputed behemoth in Zhao, no weaker than the demonic sect. With such a giant suddenly targeting him, Lu Changsheng's mood was beyond description, like being utterly screwed. Weren't my adoptive father and his group killed by the Haishui stronghold bandits? Previously, he had heard Lu Guangsheng say that the Lianyan 13 bandits, including the Haishui stronghold, entrenched in the Cloud River, were all black gloves of the Dragon King gang, specifically helping the Dragon King gang do some illicit dark deeds. Now it seems very likely to be true. This means the order to intercept Lu Guangsheng and his party was likely issued by the Dragon King gang. After discovering the escort item was fake, they came after me. What the FCK? Shouldn't they go to the Wang family instead? Or did the Wang family and the demonic sect throw the blame on me? This is very possible, because in previous simulations, the Dragon King gang had never troubled him. Of course, it's also possible that his rapid increase in strength after destroying the Black Tiger gang aroused the Dragon King gang's suspicion. Lu Changsheng's intelligence had always been sharp, and he quickly connected the dots. Perhaps these are all a series of chain reactions caused by the Black Tiger gang's demise. No matter what, the path in the simulator was getting tough. While sighing, he chose option 1, and the internal energy within Lu Changsheng's body increased a little more. Lu Changsheng found that accumulating it this way multiple times seemed quite considerable. Forget it, it seems I can only choose to join the demonic sect for now. Although I don't want to become a rat hated by everyone, to live longer and continue to improve myself quickly, I can only give it a try. Simulator started. Day 1. The news of the Black Tiger gang's demise shook the entire Yuyang city, and the city was filled with trepidation. Day 2. You stayed cooped up in Guangsheng Escort Agency. Day 3. A woman in a red dress found you and asked if you were willing to join the demonic sect. You chose to join. That night, the woman in red brought you into the Wang family. The Wang family's old ancestor was terrified upon seeing the woman in red and quickly offered a secret manual with both hands. You took a look and found the 5 large characters, Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant Art, clearly written on the secret manual. You finally confirmed that the Wang family was one of the culprits responsible for the deaths of dozens of people in the escort agency. Unfortunately, you didn't have the ability to seek revenge at the time, so you silently kept this debt in your heart. Day 7. The woman in red brought you to a Vermilion Bird Hall stronghold in Cloud River. It was then that you learned from other demonic sect disciples that the woman in red was actually the Suzaku Honored One of the 4 honored ones of the demonic sect. No wonder the Wang family's old ancestor was scared half to death at the time. At 18, you cultivated diligently in the demonic sect stronghold. At 20, you and several demonic sect fellow disciples assassinated a righteous path genius. Ultimately, your entire group was annihilated, and only you escaped with serious injuries. At 21, you finally recovered from your injuries. You deeply felt your lack of strength, put aside your prejudices between good and evil, and began to cultivate the demonic technique, Blood Evil Scripture. At 23, you had absorbed enough blood from 100 people, and the Blood Evil Scripture achieved minor success. At 26, you became an inner sect disciple of the demonic sect. At 30, you used the Blood Evil Scripture to unblock your 8 extraordinary meridians, finally becoming an internal energy middle stage martial artist. By this time, the number of people whose blood you had drained exceeded 1,000, and many righteous path sects issued bounties for you. At 31, you almost went berserk due to excessive evil chi. At 32, you finally accumulated enough contribution points to exchange for the first 3 stages of the Vermilion Bird True Art, abandoning the cultivation of the Blood Evil Art. At 35, while on a mission, you discovered a 500-year-old ginseng. You were ambushed and killed by a fellow disciple. You died. Simulator ended. You may keep one of the following options. 1. 35-year-old cultivation realm. 2. 35-year-old cultivation combat experience. Alright, indeed, people die for wealth, and birds die for food. Lu Changsheng didn't expect to die this way this time. However, compared to the previous 2 deaths, this one was at least a bit more acceptable. I choose 1. Immediately, a large surge of hot and scorching internal energy appeared within Lu Changsheng's body. Crackling, faint sounds of qi explosions emanated from him, as the checkpoints of his 8 extraordinary meridians were breached one by one, as if struck by surging waves. At the same time, this hot and scorching sensation should be the internal energy cultivated from the vermilion bird true art. This internal energy was extremely young and rigid, without any xie xing, instead resembling the cultivation technique of a truly righteous path major sect. However, thinking about it, it made sense. In the simulator, Lu Changsheng almost went berserk because of the blood evil scripture, and then deliberately exchanged contribution points for the vermilion bird true art, so he naturally wouldn't continue cultivating demonic technique. However, the fact that such a cultivation technique existed within the demonic sect truly made Lu Changsheng marvel. 7. Innate, I'm here. The true qi cultivated from the vermilion bird true art was far more powerful than that from ordinary cultivation techniques, and coupled with the golden lightsaber technique, even though he was only at the middle stage of true qi, Lu Changsheng felt that below the innate realm, probably few could be his opponents. An ordinary person might be complacent, but was Lu Changsheng an ordinary person? He was currently facing behemoths like the demonic sect and the Dragon King gang, and even the Wang family had innate experts. His strength was still far from reaching a satisfactory level. System, continue to simulate for me. You currently have 3,207 gold coins. Do you wish to start the simulator? Each use consumes 30 gold coins. Lu Changsheng's face darkened. As expected, with his increased strength, the cost of the simulator also increased. Fortunately, after looting the Black Tiger gang, he still had enough money for many simulations, so he didn't need to worry for a while. Use. Simulation begins. At 17, you joined the demonic sect and became an outer sect disciple. At 18, you began to execute missions. At 19, due to your daring and fighting spirit, you were highly regarded by the higher-ups and promoted as an inner sect disciple. At 22, you continued to do missions. At 24, a divine weapon appeared in Yangzhou. You followed the Suzaku Honored One to seize it. During the struggle, you were affected by the battle aftermath of several innate experts, severely wounded, and fled. After returning, you were punished by the demonic sect's higher-ups. At 26, you were doing missions, accumulating contribution points. At 40, you finally accumulated enough contribution points in exchange for the first 4 levels of the Vermilion Bird True Art. At 42, you felt the progress of the Vermilion Bird True Art was slow. At 50, you cultivated to the peak of the middle stage of True Qi, but still hadn't opened your Ren and Du meridians. At this time, your Qi and blood were gradually decaying, and you knew that you would probably never be able to enter the late stage of True Qi in your lifetime. At 52, you were fighting with someone over a treasure in a valley in Yuzhou when an innate expert from the righteous path suddenly appeared. Seeing that you were from the demonic sect, he casually struck you with a palm, and you died, spitting blood. You died. Simulation ended. You can retain one of the following. The cultivation realm at 52 years old. The cultivation experience at 52 years old. I choose 1. In this simulation, he reached the peak of the middle stage of True Qi. Although he did not enter the late stage, it was a huge improvement. Subsequently, Lu Changsheng felt the True Qi in his body had more than doubled in strength. Even the barrier of the Ren and Du meridians seemed to have loosened. Very good, after a few more times, I should be able to break through to the late stage of True Qi. Keep simulating for me tonight. I want to see how far I can go. Lu Changsheng hardened his heart and began continuous simulations. At 17, you joined the demonic sect. A month later, you began doing missions to accumulate contribution points. At 18, you became an inner sect disciple of the demonic sect. At 42, you experienced countless battles, obtained a massive amount of contribution points, and successfully exchanged for the first 5 levels of the Vermilion Bird True Art. At 60, your Qi and blood began to decay, and your strength was less than half of your peak. You were ambushed by a fellow disciple and died. Choose 1, and again. At 51, you tried to force a breakthrough, triggering a backlash, and died from Qi deviation. At 42, you were ambushed by an enemy and died under the siege of several martial artists at the peak of True Qi. At 45, by chance, you obtained a 500-year-old ginseng. After consuming it, you used its immense medicinal power to open your Ren and Du meridians, breaking through to the late stage of true Qi. At 82, you died of old age. This time, I actually died of old age, how rare. It seems that after my strength increased, even my life safety was greatly guaranteed. Choose one. True Qi surged out, breaking through the Ren and Du meridians in a few breaths. Finally, he broke through to the late stage of true Qi. Lu Changsheng was overjoyed, but he was far from achieving his goal. Strength was the foundation of everything. Didn't he die of old age in the simulator after breaking through to the late stage of true Qi? So he wanted to go one step further tonight and enter the innate realm. Continue to simulate. You joined the demonic sect. At 43, during a mission, you killed the grandson of the Dragon King Gang's 7th elder. You were hunted by the 7th elder for 3 days and 3 nights. He finally killed you in Yunshui Commandery. You died. Bullying the weak, bah, shameless. Seeing the 7th elder appear again, Lu Changsheng couldn't help but complain. He was hunted for 3 days and 3 nights just for killing one grandson. It couldn't be his only offspring, could it? Lu Changsheng thought with a mischievous sense of humor. However, on the other hand, being able to escape from an innate expert for 3 days and 3 nights was enough to show how powerful he was in the simulator. Most innate experts probably couldn't do anything to him. After all, not everyone had the leisure to hunt someone for 3 days and 3 nights. This time, choose 2. Lu Changsheng made his choice, and immediately, a lot of combat experience and escape experience appeared in his mind. In the demonic sect, experiencing high-intensity fighting and killing clearly turned him into a well-rounded warrior. You currently have 2,157 gold coins. Do you wish to start the simulator? Each use consumes 60 gold coins. Lu Changsheng's face darkened. Damn it, the price went up again, didn't it? Are you learning this price increase method from Tencent? Lu Changsheng, who was originally confident about breaking through to the innate realm tonight, now felt a little nervous. He hoped that his simulated self would be more capable. How did the saying go? If it doesn't kill you, train until it does. At 40, you accumulated enough contribution points and exchanged for the first 6 levels of the Vermilion Bird True Art. At 82, you died of old age. Choose one. At 45, you broke through to the peak of true Qi. At 50, you used a massive amount of contribution points to exchange for a mad demon pill that could help one break through to the innate realm. Unfortunately, the medicinal power of the mad demon pill was too violent, and you died from Qi deviation. Choose one. At 46, you exchanged for the mad demon pill and died from Qi deviation. Choose 2. After a moment of thought, Lu Changsheng made his choice. Now that he was at the peak of true Qi, the experience of breaking through to the innate realm was especially important. At 45, you exchanged for the mad demon pill and died from Qi deviation. At 43, you exchanged for the mad demon pill and chose to go into seclusion for a breakthrough. With your rich experience, you controlled the violent medicinal power of the mad demon pill, and you successfully broke through to the innate realm. At 57, during a war between the righteous and demonic factions, you killed 2 righteous path innate experts, and were finally killed by a Grand Master from Sword God Mountain. You died. Innate, here I come. It was almost dawn, and he had been simulating all night. Although Lu Changsheng had bloodshot eyes, he didn't feel the slightest fatigue. Instead, he was extremely excited. I choose one. In an instant, the innate true Qi, as hot as magma, surged out from Lu Changsheng's abdomen. 8. I accidentally became a flower picker. Lu Changsheng sat cross-legged, enduring the scorching pain, unmoving like a rock. Time passed minute by minute, and the temperature around Lu Changsheng grew hotter and hotter, his clothes burning to ashes, the floor tiles beneath him turning red, and the air becoming extremely dry. Lu Changsheng felt as if he was in a furnace, his skin completely crimson. After a full stick of incense, the fiery red color of his skin gradually faded, and a lifelike vermilion bird imprint appeared on Lu Changsheng's forehead. The 6th stage of the Vermilion Bird True Art, Vermilion Bird Condensation, was complete. This also meant that he had officially stepped into the innate realm. All the Vermilion Bird internal energy in his body had been completely transformed into Suzaku True Energy, and his bones and muscles had undergone Nirvana refinement, becoming even harder. A long while later, Lu Changsheng opened his eyes, and two formless flames surged within them. He extended his right hand and pressed it casually on the ground, and a charred pit the size of a face appeared in the ground. This was merely the result of him using Suzaku true energy without employing any martial skill. The vermilion bird true art came with its own martial skills. If he were to use them, he would likely have few rivals among those of the same realm. As expected of one of the four most powerful cultivation techniques of the demonic Tao, capable of cultivating to the great Grand Master realm, Lu Changsheng couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Different cultivation techniques forged different foundations, and upon cultivating to the innate realm, their strength would be completely different. Having cultivated the vermilion bird true art, his strength, upon breakthrough, was enough to look down on others of the same realm. Lu Changsheng touched the scorching vermilion bird imprint on his forehead, and soon made it melt into his body, becoming invisible. Normally, he would just pretend to be an innate expert who cultivated a fire-attributed cultivation technique. He didn't want his true origins to be seen. If he were mistaken for a member of the demonic Tao and everyone started attacking him, he would be in big trouble. And the demonic Tao would also question why he knew the vermilion bird true art, wondering if there was a spy within who leaked the technique. At that time, there would be no place for him in either the righteous or demonic factions, and the trouble would be immense. He would probably only be able to flee Zhao, provided he could actually escape. Of course, these troubles were only temporary. Since he dared to cultivate the vermilion bird true art, he already had a solution. That was to quickly become stronger in a short amount of time. Before either the righteous or demonic factions could react, he would be invincible. By then, whoever dared to question him would get their dog head smashed with one punch. Let's see who dares to bother him. Of course, to become stronger, one must first simulate. However, looking at his balance, Lu Changsheng's face darkened. Detected that the host has upgraded to the innate realm. Each use costs 100 money. Current balance is 57 money. Insufficient balance. Do you want to recharge? Recharge my foot. Let me sleep first. After annihilating the Black Tiger gang and simulating for most of the night, Lu Changsheng's mental energy was greatly depleted. He yawned, and just as Lu Changsheng was about to lie down and sleep, he felt a chill on his body. He looked down and saw, good heavens, all his clothes were burnt off. If he didn't quickly get a new set, would he have to run around naked when it got light? By then, it would probably be another sensational piece of news in Yuyang City. He even thought of the title, shocking. Yuyang's handsome young man, Guangsheng Escort Agency's young master, runs around naked. Is it the distortion of human nature or the degradation of Tao? The escort agency is full of men, there are plenty of clothes, I can easily get a set. Soon, a naked figure began to move through the various rooms of the Guangsheng Escort Agency. After a while, in the kitchen, Lu Changsheng looked at the lonely rag in front of him, which could only cover half his face, and fell into contemplation. After a long pause, 4 words finally popped out of his mouth, his grandma's. That moving crew during the day was truly ruthless. Forget it, while it's not yet fully light, I'll borrow a set from the neighbors. Given our neighborly relations, I'm sure they won't mind. Lu Changsheng shook his head, covered his face with the rag, and began his operation. He never expected that the first thing he would do after becoming an innate master was to steal clothes. If this got out, it would probably be a bigger sensation than him breaking through to the innate realm at 17. The innate masters in others' eyes, slaughtering all sides. The innate masters in reality, stealing clothes. And stealing men's clothes. Bah, he had no shame left. The sky was dim, and the east was showing white. Ning Yuyu felt the urge to urinate, got up, rubbed her sleepy eyes, and pushed open her door to go to the outhouse in the backyard. Just as she opened her door and was yawning, she suddenly saw a masked man, naked, jumping down from her house's wall. Both were a bit startled, staring at each other for a while, wide-eyed. Soon, a scream came from Ning Yuyu's mouth, piercing the night sky and waking up the neighbors. Not a maid or supporting character, a 2-3 chapter plot that can bring the protagonist tens of thousands of taels of silver. Ning Yuyu's high-pitched scream was only halfway through when she felt a pain in the back of her head, and she lost consciousness and fainted, her high note abruptly stopping. Yuyu, what's wrong? Ning Yuan, Ning Yuyu's alcoholic father next door, heard the commotion, quickly woke up, opened the door, and came out, only to see Ning Yuyu fainted at the doorway. He quickly went forward, shaking Ning Yuyu by the shoulders. "Yuyu, wake up." Ning Yuyu slowly woke up, and just as she was about to scream, she saw Ning Yuan and breathed a sigh of relief. Although Ning Yuan usually hit and scolded her, he was obviously much better than the flower thief from just now. Then, under Ning Yuan's questioning, she recounted what she had just seen, one by one. After finishing, she was still filled with lingering fear. A naked, very fast masked man. Ning Yuan was a bit startled. "Oh dear, isn't that a flower thief?" At this moment, a burly woman in an apron stood at the courtyard gate and laughed. This was Aunt Lu, who sold tofu across the street. Others hadn't woken up yet, but she had already opened her stall. As soon as she heard the commotion, she immediately came to watch the fun. Ning Yuan looked at the open courtyard gate, remembering that he had drunk too much last night and seemed to have not even latched the door when he came back. Seeing this, he quickly pulled Aunt Lu in, closed the door, and whispered to Aunt Lu, "My ancestor, keep your voice down." Aunt Lu ignored him and came to Ning Yuyu's front, curiously asking, "Girl, did that flower thief do anything to you?" "No, my head just feels a little dizzy," Ning Yuyu replied timidly. Aunt Lu scrutinized Ning Yuyu from head to toe. Disheveled clothes, dizziness, flower thief. She immediately had her own conclusions. Seeing her gaze, Ning Yuan's heart sank, and he quickly pulled her hand. Yuyu screamed, directly scared away that flower thief. "My dear aunt, you must not go around gossiping." Ning Yuyu was only 15, still a maiden. Next month, she was even going to marry Butcher, who from Shilly Street as his third concubine, and he had already received the 30 taels of betrothal money. At this critical juncture, there could be no mishaps. He was the clearest about what happened, but public opinion could still twist the truth. If it got out that his daughter had contact with a flower thief, with Butcher whose violent temper, he dared not even imagine what would happen. 9. Coffin, promotion and fortune. Aunt Lu heard this and immediately said unhappily, "Oh, look at how you talk. I watched Yuyu grow up. Would I ruin her reputation? My mouth will be sealed tight, I promise. No more talk, I need to go look after my stall." Aunt Lu waved her hand, turned, and left, opening the courtyard gate. Seeing a circle of curious neighbors gathered outside, she said, "It's nothing, nothing. Ning family's girl just accidentally fell. Everyone, please disperse." Seeing Aunt Lu's actions, Ning Yuan breathed a sigh of relief. Distant relatives are not as good as close neighbors, it seems Aunt Lu is quite reliable. Dawn had broken. Lu Chengsheng, wearing clothes he had stolen from Old Man Niu's house, felt extremely vexed. He had been careful enough, but he still ran into someone, and it was a woman. The thought of his body, the most handsome in the world, being seen by someone, made him feel like he had suffered a great loss. Fortunately, his face was covered, and she couldn't see who he was, otherwise, his reputation in this life would be ruined. Wearing Old Man Niu's clothes, Lu Chengsheng went to the fabric store on the next street, bought a few new sets of clothes, and then secretly returned the old clothes to Old Man Niu. This time, he was extra careful and wasn't discovered by anyone. After all that, he went back to sleep. He slept until noon, then Lu Chengsheng went to the wonton stall outside to fill his stomach. He ate bowl after bowl, stacking them 2 feet high, yet no one was curious. Instead, many people gathered together, whispering. With Lu Chengsheng's current hearing, eavesdropping was naturally as easy as turning his hand over. "Did you hear? The Ning family's girl encountered a pervert with a covered face and no clothes last night." "What pervert? He was a flower thief. I also heard that the Ning family's girl was drugged by that flower thief, and then, sigh. No way. The Ning family's girl is the most beautiful maiden on these few streets. To be defiled by a flower thief, it's truly an injustice from heaven." Everyone expressed their pity and strongly condemned the flower thief's actions. Lu Chengsheng's old face flushed. He never expected this matter to spread so quickly. Fortunately, his face was covered, and no one knew who he was. Lu Chengsheng couldn't help but inwardly praise his own quick wit once again. There was also the matter of the Ning family's girl to deal with. In this place, similar to ancient Chinese feudal society, people still valued female chastity greatly, especially for an unmarried maiden like the Ning family's girl. But for now, he would first resolve the matter with the Wang family. Today was the 80th birthday of the Wang family's old master, and many of the Wang family's direct descendants had rushed back from other places. It was a rare opportunity. The debt for the 34 lives of Guangsheng escort agency should be settled with them. However, it would be improper not to bring a gift for someone's birthday. Lu Chengsheng was a humble gentleman. Even when going to cause trouble for others, the necessary courtesies could not be omitted. After thinking for a moment, he went to old man Zhou's shop and bought a large coffin. Coffin, promotion and wealth. This gift would surely please old Master Wang very much. West of Yuyang City, the Wang family's grand mansion. At this time, the area in front of the mansion was already bustling with carriages. After all, it was the birthday of the only innate expert in Yuyang City, even a half-crippled innate expert. How many would dare to neglect him? This time, all the prominent forces in Yuyang City, and even many important figures from several nearby cities, specially came to offer their congratulations. In front of the Wang family's main gate, Butler Wu was receiving the visiting dignitaries, while the usher beside him loudly announced, "Mixed Origin Martial Hall Master Shen Kai arrives, presenting a plate of longevity peaches." Green Wolf Gang leader Zheng Yu arrives, presenting a 100-year-old ginseng root. Yushan City Wei family patriarch Wei Hong arrives, presenting a pair of luminous pearls. Just as the crowd was bustling, a young man carrying a 2-meter-long giant coffin covered with white cloth walked towards them, attracting particular attention. With a bang, the young man set the object upright on the ground, pulled off the white cloth, and said with a smile, "Lu Chengsheng of Guangsheng Escort Agency, presenting a coffin." The usher, who was oblivious to everything else and only focused on announcing birthday gifts, immediately shouted without thinking, "Lu Chengsheng of Guangsheng Escort Agency, presenting a coffin." Ouch! Before he could finish speaking, Butler Wu, who had reacted, kicked the usher flying. "Who sends a coffin for a grand birthday? Lu boy, are you deliberately looking for trouble?" Butler Wu, who was greeting guests at the entrance, saw the pitch-black coffin, his face turning livid with anger, and he said to the guards around him, "Seize this little beast for me." The people around also looked over in astonishment, not expecting anyone to dare send a coffin to old Master Wang's 80th birthday. This was like disturbing the Grand Duke Jupiter, tired of living. Besides the astonished, there were also many who were watching the show. The Wang family was accustomed to acting tyrannically in Yuyang City, so if someone caused trouble for them, they were happy to see it. Soon, 5 or 6 guards, fierce as wolves and tigers, pounced forward. But Lu Chengsheng, like swatting flies, merely waved his hand, and those few people flew out like kites with broken strings. The crowd gasped in unison. With such skill, one must at least be at the middle stage of inner chi cultivation. Shen Kai, Zheng Yu, and others who had established forces in Yuyang City were only at this realm. This young man, so young, turned out to be an expert. "Since you won't accept it, I'll just have to deliver it myself." Lu Chengsheng shook his head, hoisted the coffin onto his shoulder, and walked towards the Wang family's main gate. "Stop him for me." Butler Wu's eyes were splitting with rage. If Lu Chengsheng really managed to send the coffin inside, his position as the Wang family's head butler would be over. "Can you stop me?" Lu Chengsheng laughed loudly, wielding the coffin as a weapon. The dozen or so guards who charged at him with drawn swords fell one by one like straw. The surrounding guests also scattered in a panic, fearing being caught in the crossfire. Many unlucky ones who were already affected screamed while cursing inwardly, "This guy is truly a madman." "Rise." Lu Chengsheng looked at the scattered crowd, let out a loud laugh, pushed the coffin forward, and then kicked it from behind. The coffin flew directly into the mansion. Then Lu Chengsheng jumped onto the coffin, performing a coffin riding feat. Since it was an 80th birthday, Lu Chengsheng didn't mind giving old Master Wang a show. Soon, the people inside the courtyard, who were chatting and laughing, only heard a booming sound, and a large, black coffin flew in from outside the courtyard. On the coffin was a young man in white, floating like an immortal, riding on the coffin. If the young man had been stepping on a sword, many people would probably have taken him for a sword immortal on the spot. With a rumble, the coffin landed squarely on the longevity character wooden sculpture that the Wang family had spent 888 taels of silver to commission from a famous sculptor in Yunzhou City and placed in the center of the courtyard. The coffin smashed it to the ground and then pressed down on it, causing everyone present to twitch their faces. 10. What kind of monster is this person? Your Excellency, who are you? Why are you causing trouble at my father's birthday banquet? Wang Shitao, the patriarch of the Wang family, stepped out of the crowd and roared angrily. Although his face showed extreme rage, as if he wanted to tear the young man who was crashing the party into 1,000 pieces, he did not make a move immediately. The main reason was that he knew all the innate experts in Yuyang City and the surrounding cities, but the person in front of him seemed to have popped out of nowhere. Moreover, he chose to cause trouble specifically at the birthday banquet, suggesting he might have some backing, which made him hesitate. No matter what, he had to figure out this guy's identity first. You don't recognize me? That's right, a commoner like me certainly wouldn't catch the eye of a big shot like you, the Wang family's patriarch. Lu Chengsheng chuckled, his eyes full of mockery. The Wang family had killed so many people from Guangsheng Escort Agency, yet they didn't recognize him, their young master. It seemed Guangsheng Escort Agency was truly insignificant in their eyes. Wang Shitao was stunned by the words. Immediately, someone beside him whispered, Patriarch, this person is the young master of Guangsheng Escort Agency, named Lu Chengsheng. Wang Shitao suddenly understood. He had heard of this person before because of the escort mission, but he had never met him. Rumor had it that this person came from a refugee background and was adopted as a foster son by Lu Guangsheng due to his cleverness. He only began cultivating at 17 and his strength was not worth mentioning. He was a good-for-nothing who couldn't threaten the Wang family. Now, upon seeing him, he had already cultivated qi, which gave him a huge surprise. An innate expert at 17. Is this what they call strength not worth mentioning? Wang Shitao glared fiercely at Wang family's fifth elder not far away. What kind of intelligence did you gather? Wang family's fifth elder shrank his neck. He really didn't know. He had already sent people to investigate Lu Chengsheng thoroughly. This guy had only been cultivating for 2 months. It couldn't be that he cultivated qi in 2 months, right? This guy must have been hiding his strength before. Of course, discussing whether he was hiding his strength now was meaningless, as he had already come knocking. The key was to figure out why he was here. If he had discovered that their Wang family had harmed Lu Guangsheng and the others, then it would be a huge mess. The blow to the Wang family's reputation was minor. Exposing that the peerless cultivation technique was in the Wang family's hands could bring about the downfall of the Wang family. At this moment, Wang family's fifth elder gave Wang Shitao a reassuring look. He had handled this matter flawlessly. It was absolutely impossible for it to be leaked. Thinking about fifth elder's performance and intelligence over the years, Wang Shitao felt slightly relieved. Fifth elder might have been careless in investigating Lu Chengsheng's strength, but he wouldn't be careless about matters concerning the Wang family's survival. However, before Wang Shitao could say anything, Lu Chengsheng laughed heartily. Your Wang family used a fake escort mission to kill 32 escorts from my escort agency, yet you act as if nothing happened. Since that's the case, I'll have to send your old master Wang a coffin to comfort their souls in heaven. As soon as these words came out, the surrounding people immediately started discussing. The news of Guangsheng Escort Agency's complete annihilation was a big story in Yuyang City. The person who entrusted the escort back then was quite mysterious and had not shown up since. Unexpectedly, it turned out to be the Wang family. It's over. He actually knows this news. Wang family's fifth elder stood there dumbfounded, as if struck by lightning, feeling only a bleak future. At the same time, Wang Shitao's expression was also very ugly. He said coldly, escorting goods inherently carries risks. The people from your escort agency died at the hands of Haishui's stronghold, and it has nothing to do with my Wang family. Besides, even if they died, it was due to their lack of strength. Lu Chengsheng laughed heartily, tears almost flowing from his eyes. What a lack of strength. Since they died at the hands of the bandits from Haishui's stronghold due to their lack of strength, then since I am here today, does your Wang family also have to admit bad luck? His words carried a great air of disdain for the entire Wang family. You little beast, just you. Provoked repeatedly, Wang Shitao finally couldn't hold back. He leapt up and directly struck at Lu Chengsheng's face with a mountain-splitting palm, a move with 20 years of cultivation technique, intending to shatter his head. Lu Chengsheng was unconcerned. He simply kicked lightly, sending him flying backward powerlessly. Then Lu Chengsheng jumped heavily, stepping on his head, making Wang Shitao struggle endlessly. You are the first. After saying that, Lu Chengsheng exerted force with his foot, and Wang Shitao's head shattered like a watermelon. Red and white splattered everywhere. Many female family members attending the banquet immediately screamed in fright. The expressions of the Wang family members were also extremely varied. Wang Shitao, as the patriarch of the Wang family, had reached the innate late stage in his abilities. He was the strongest person in the Wang family apart from Old Master Wang. Unexpectedly, he couldn't even withstand one move from Lu Changsheng. And his head was casually stomped on and exploded by him. What kind of prodigy is this person? Kill him, avenge the patriarch. A dozen or so short-sighted guards, with red eyes, charged forward. As a result, Lu Changsheng crushed their necks one by one, like pinching chicks. After killing Wang Shitao and a dozen Wang family guards, Lu Changsheng's gaze turned to Wang family's fifth elder not far away. That Wang family's fifth elder was so scared that his legs went weak, and he plopped down on the ground, repeatedly kowtowing and begging for mercy. Young Master Lu, this humble one knows nothing. The death of escort leader Lu might have other hidden circumstances. Still quibbling even when death is at hand. Lu Changsheng snorted coldly and then stretched out his hand. Young friend, stop. Just as Wang family's fifth elder was scared half to death, an old voice sounded, causing Lu Changsheng to frown slightly. Turning to look, he saw an old man leaning on a crutch walking out from the inner hall. This old man had an immortal-like demeanor, with a sense of detachment. The old man was Wang Tai, the protagonist of the Wang family's 80th birthday celebration. The only innate expert in Yuyang City. Wang Tai slowly walked towards Lu Changsheng and said in a deep voice, I also have some understanding of the Guangsheng escort agency matter. Although young friend Lu's actions are a bit aggressive, my son truly deserved to die. As his words fell, everyone present changed their expressions. Wang Tai held an extraordinary position in Yuyang City, being the only innate expert. His words carried immense weight. Moreover, after his breakthrough to innate, he rarely concerned himself with worldly affairs. Today, however, he said that Wang Shitao deserved to die, which undoubtedly confirmed Lu Changsheng's statement. The Wang family intentionally used the escort goods to harm and kill all the escorts of Guangsheng Escort Agency. This was undoubtedly a slap in the face for the Wang family, who had been denying it just now. But Wang Tai's next words shocked everyone even more. You and I are both innate, there's no need to fight to the death. Today, this old man will bear witness here. My son's death, my Wang family will no longer pursue, and we will give young friend certain compensation. What do you think? What? Lu Changsheng is actually an innate expert. Everyone on the scene changed their expressions. He's only 17, isn't he? Zheng Yu, the leader of the Green Wolf gang, looked at Lu Changsheng's excessively youthful face, dumbfounded. Although he had some guesses about Lu Changsheng's strength, it was only limited to innate peak. Because innate, for those in the Tao, is a chasm. He found it hard to imagine an innate expert under 20 years old. 11. The Wang family is destroyed and rumors are flying everywhere. The waves behind push the waves ahead. Shen Kai, the master of Hunyuan Hall, sighed faintly, feeling as if most of his life had been wasted. Back then, he was also hailed as a genius with the potential to break through to the innate realm. Now, he had long since given up on that idea. The difficulty of reaching the innate realm is harder than ascending to the heavens. That is another level of martial Tao. Even old Master Wang, though also an innate expert, had to make concessions. Old dog, you're dreaming. Lu Changsheng showed no face at all. Negotiate. He had to ask if his deceased foster father would agree. He had to ask if the dozens of wrong souls from Guangsheng Escort Agency would agree. You fell for it. Old Master Wang, who had already reached within 10 steps of Lu Changsheng, let out a wild laugh. His figure flickered, instantly appearing before Lu Changsheng. This was his lightness cultivation technique, startling swan steps, cultivated for many years, he could instantly arrive within 10 steps. Everything he had said earlier was to lull Lu Changsheng into a false sense of security. Lu Changsheng had killed his most beloved eldest son, so how could he possibly truly shake hands and negotiate with Lu Changsheng? Immediately after, Wang Tai's left hand unleashed a frigid divine palm, striking out like a giant splitting a mountain. This was a sure kill move. After pushing his true chi to its limit, even his palm was covered in a layer of frost. A young innate expert, exceptionally talented, but ultimately too young and lacking Zhonggu experience. Many people in the arena, witnessing this scene, felt deep regret, as if they were watching the downfall of a genius. Die. Wang Tai grinned ferociously, no longer displaying his immortal-like demeanor, only the exhilaration of impending revenge. This palm strike was extremely sudden, 99% of newly entered innate experts would be unable to react. But that absolutely did not include Lu Changsheng. He possessed not only martial Dao realms but also decades of brutal combat experience from his time in the demonic cult. Frigid true chi. A mocking smile flashed across Lu Chengsheng's face as he directly met the strike with his left palm, palm against palm. Boom! The two palms collided abruptly. The surrounding temperature instantly rose by 100 degrees, dispelling all traces of cold chi. Amidst the loud bang, Wang Tai retreated 3 feet before standing still, his face showing an expression of extreme disbelief, his pupils still filled with horror. Such terrifying blazing true chi, Guangsheng Escort Agency, I hate it so much. After uttering these few sentences, Wang Tai's body was suddenly enveloped by a layer of frost, and his entire person became like a lifelike ice sculpture. It turned out that his frigid true chi, which he had painstakingly cultivated for decades, was no match for Lu Chengsheng's Suzaku true energy. In his crushing defeat, even his frigid true chi was reversed, backlashing against its master, leading to a most tragic death. Lu Chengsheng actually killed Wang Tai, an old innate expert, with a single palm strike. Shock. Unbelievable. The courtyard was filled with gasps of cold air. The quality of Suzaku true energy is incredibly high, it's practically the natural enemy of all cold attributed true chi. No wonder that in the simulator, when Wang Tai saw Suzaku Honored One, he was like a mouse seeing a cat, not even having the thought to resist, and obediently handed over the secret manual. Lu Chengsheng also felt a little emotional. If it had been an innate expert cultivating a cultivation technique of another attribute, he might have had to put in some effort. Next was the much-anticipated corpse looting session. Lu Chengsheng melted the ice sculpture with a palm strike, then rummaged through Wang Tai's corpse, successfully finding a book bound with craft paper. The cover bore the 5 large characters, Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant Art. Indeed, how important a peerless cultivation technique is, this old fellow would definitely keep it close to him. Lu Chengsheng's face lit up with joy, and he directly tucked it into his embrace. This was his biggest goal for this trip. With this cultivation technique, he would have the confidence to deal with the experts from the demonic cult and the Dragon King gang who would arrive next. Since the cultivation technique is in hand, then the Wang family, it's time for their demise. Lu Chengsheng's eyes returned to their cold state, like a reaper possessed, and he began his slaughter. Soon, the Wang family was filled with cries of anguish. All the guests attending the birthday banquet either fled or watched the spectacle, but not a single one dared to stand up and speak for the Wang family. The slaughter lasted for a quarter of an hour. Lu Chengsheng, with an impeccable demeanor, slaughtered everyone in the Wang family, including Wang Laowu. He only spared 2 terrified house servants. Because these 2 fellows were collaborators, with their help, Lu Chengsheng successfully swept clean the Wang family's treasures and martial arts secret manuals. The silver was consolidated by Lu Chengsheng into one room and directly recharged. Other items, such as medicinal herbs, antiques, land deeds, and secret manuals, were directly auctioned off on the spot to the guests present. Anyway, there were many big merchants and wealthy dignitaries among them. When a wall falls, everyone pushes it, and they were quite interested in the Wang family's assets. Afterward, Lu Chengsheng, carrying 50,000 taels of silver notes and the recharged silver, strode away. The 2 house servants followed behind him, feeling as if they were treading on thin ice. The surrounding guests also bought many good things. Except for the Wang family, everyone felt that they had come to the right place this time. And some people who had been on good terms with the Wang family, fearing retaliation, had been hiding in corners. Only after Lu Chengsheng's distant figure disappeared did they dare to return to their respective homes. And the tragic extermination of the Wang family spread like a hurricane with the departure of these guests. By the time Lu Chengsheng annihilated the Wang family and returned to Guangsheng Escort Agency, it was already dusk. Walking on the road, Lu Chengsheng hummed a little tune, feeling utterly carefree. He had exacted revenge and swept away all his enemies. This was how a true man should be. As Lu Chengsheng passed by Ning Yuyu's small courtyard, he saw a large group of neighbors gathered in front of the courtyard gate, with many women pointing and gesticulating towards the inside. Yuyu is such a good girl, and she's going to be sold to the Golden Phoenix brothel, what a sin. Whose fault is it? Isn't it her own fault for secretly having a lover? Lu Chengsheng, relying on the powerful 5 senses of an innate martial artist, heard all their words clearly and quickly understood what was happening. It turned out that the incident of Ning Yuyu encountering the naked masked Guai Ren had somehow leaked out, and after half a day of fermentation it had evolved into several versions. From losing her virginity to a rapist, it became secretly having a lover for half a year, and then even suspected of being pregnant with the wild man's child. Butcher, who from the next street heard about this, became furious, and immediately went to Ning Laosin with his knife, demanding the return of the betrothal gifts. However, those silver coins had long been spent by Ning Laosin. With no other options, Ning Laosin had no choice but to sell his daughter to the Golden Phoenix brothel, the largest brothel in Yuyang City, which led to the scene before them. Lu Chengsheng was speechless. An accidental misunderstanding had actually turned into secretly having a lover. If anyone ever said that the spiritual lives of ancient people weren't rich, he would argue with them. Excuse me. Lu Chengsheng walked into the human wall, and the densely packed crowd instantly parted to both sides. This matter began because of him, and it should also end because of him. This book has no female lead. All female characters are merely temporary supporting female roles for the plot. The protagonist is single-mindedly devoted to the Tao and will not get entangled in romantic affairs, so please rest assured. Butcher, who, standing directly in front, was holding his knife and crossing his arms, waiting to collect his silver. A great force came from behind, nearly making him stumble. Butcher, who turned around and saw Lu Chengsheng pushing his way forward. He was furious and shouted, "Guangsheng Escort Agency is gone, and you still dare to be so arrogant." Saying that, he raised his palm, as large as a cattail fan, and slapped towards Lu Chengsheng. When Guangsheng Escort Agency was around, he was submissive. With Guangsheng Escort Agency gone, he chose to strike hard. 12. Do you want to be a bad boy? Smack. A heavy slap. But it didn't land on young Master Lu's face, instead, it struck Butcher Hu's face. Butcher Hu flew several meters, landing heavily on the ground, half his teeth shattered and scattered, blood foam gurgling from his mouth. He looked utterly miserable. Butcher Hu stared at Lu Chengsheng, his eyes wide with disbelief. Isn't this kid from a beggar and vagrant background? How could he possess such strength? Butcher Hu mumbled a few sounds, then struggled to get up and ran off without looking back. Just then, Ning Yuan, Ning Laosin, and an old woman whose face was heavily caked with rouge and powder, emerged from the house. The latter was precisely the madam of the Golden Phoenix brothel. Your daughter's looks are not bad. Here are 50 taels of silver. From now on, she belongs to our Golden Phoenix brothel, and she will have no further connection with you. The crestfallen Ning Laosin, after taking the silver from the madam's hand, immediately beamed with joy. After paying Butcher Hu 30 taels of silver, he would still have 20 taels left, enough for him to enjoy himself for a while. Huh, where's Butcher Hu? Ning Yuan scanned the crowd but found that Butcher Hu, who had just been there, had mysteriously disappeared. Let go of me. I'd rather die than go to the Golden Phoenix brothel. Ning Yuyu was pulled out of the house into the courtyard by 2 burly men, one on each side. Her struggles were quite forceful. The 2 men almost couldn't hold her. This little lady has quite a fiery temper. Tonight, my brother and I will properly educate you, guaranteeing you'll be obedient by tomorrow. The 2 burly men stared at Ning Yuyu's ample chest, winking and leering, clearly having done such things countless times before. At this moment, a figure in white blocked the 3 of them. Young Master Lu. Ning Yuyu was somewhat startled to see the person. As the young master of the Guangsheng Escort Agency, Lu Chengsheng was naturally known by everyone in the neighborhood. Furthermore, he had previously intervened when Ning Laosin was beating and scolding the young girl, which naturally left a deeper impression on Ning Yuyu. Brat, your backer is dead, and you still dare to play the hero. The madam, standing nearby, sized up Lu Chengsheng and said disdainfully. Scram. Lu Chengsheng ignored the disgusting old dog and instead roared at the 2 strong men holding Ning Yuyu. A puff of white chi shot from his mouth, splitting into 2 fist-sized round white masses as if sentient, landing on the 2 strong men. Boom! Immediately, a thunderous sound erupted from flat ground. The 2 burly men were instantly blown away as if they had encountered gunpowder. Their bodies showed large areas of red burns, and they lay on the ground, wailing incessantly. Immortal, young Master Lu is a living immortal. The surrounding crowd, witnessing this, were awestruck and immediately knelt down en masse. The madam was even more terrified, falling onto her backside with yellow liquid seeping out from beneath her. Exhaling chi to create thunder. It was merely a minor chi manipulation technique of an innate master. But in the eyes of these illiterate common folk, it was no different from a divine being. Our Golden Phoenix brothel's backer is a big shot in the county yamen. You brat, just you wait. The madam got up, her voice a mix of bravado and fear, and stumbled out. Being well-traveled, she naturally wouldn't truly believe Lu Chengsheng was an immortal, but Lu Chengsheng's display clearly showed him to be an extremely powerful martial artist. A good madam knows not to suffer immediate losses. Going back to call for reinforcements was the best course of action. The Golden Phoenix brothel had stood firm in Yuyang City for decades, its background naturally immensely deep. Even during the Guangsheng escort agency's heyday, they wouldn't dare provoke the Golden Phoenix brothel in the slightest. Now, having been outsmarted by this stinking brat, Lu Chengsheng, how could the madam accept this loss? Lu Chengsheng watched the madam's pathetic escape with a rather playful expression. County Yamen, people from the imperial court. Did they even have the guts to step forward? How much silver did the madam of the Golden Phoenix brothel give you? Lu Chengsheng turned to Ning Laosin. 50 taels. Ning Laosin's face was pale, his voice trembling. He wasn't feeling guilty, of course, but rather afraid that Lu Chengsheng might casually slap him to death. 50 taels, right, alright, I'll buy her. You wouldn't disagree, would you? To be able to follow young Master Lu is my humble daughter's good fortune cultivated over 8 lifetimes. Ning Laosin waved his hands frantically, not daring to disagree. Lu Chengsheng nodded in satisfaction, then his gaze gradually sharpened. Who was spreading rumors that my maidservant was having an affair? Step forward yourself. Soon, Aunt Lu's corpulent figure tremblingly walked out from the crowd. Aunt Lu plopped down on her knees in front of Lu Chengsheng, crying with snot running down her face. Young Master Lu, Immortal Lu, I am not a human. All of this was my baseless fabrication and wild rumors. I'm so sorry, little girl of the Ning family. After speaking, she began to slap herself repeatedly. Her face quickly swelled up like a pig's head. The neighbors all knew Aunt Lu loved gossip on weekdays, so they just watched with cold eyes, no one sympathizing with her. Soon, Aunt Lu slapped herself unconscious. Let's go, Yu. Lu Chengsheng shrugged at the sight, then turned and walked away. Ning Yu was stunned for a moment, looked at the unconscious Aunt Lu, then at Lu Chengsheng, and resolutely followed him. Young Master Lu, about that silver. The cowardly Ning Laosin, however, poked his head forward again. He feared death, but he feared not having silver to spend even more. Oh, my memory. Lu Chengsheng slapped his head and immediately pulled out the silver from Ning Laosin's arms. The people from the Golden Phoenix brothel were driven away by me, so this counts as my spoils of war. No more, no less, exactly 50 taels. After saying that, he threw the silver back to Ning Laosin. Ning Laosin's eyes widened as he stared at Lu Chengsheng. No, my lord, you can play like this. So, you didn't spend a single penny and got a daughter from me for free. Ning Laosin was in a state of disarray in the wind. Ning Yu followed Lu Chengsheng into the Guangsheng escort agency. Looking at the empty courtyard, Lu Chengsheng suddenly thought about buying something to decorate it. But after thinking about it, he decided against it. The potential threats from the demonic cult and the Dragon King gang were like a bone stuck in his throat. Lu Chengsheng had already decided to run away early tomorrow morning, so he wouldn't waste that money. Ning Yu looked around curiously. She had long heard that the families of the deceased escorts of the Guangsheng escort agency had moved all the valuable things out of the agency, but this was too clean. Besides walls, there was just dirt. Even a mouse would have to shed 2 pounds of tears before leaving. Yu, just find any room to make do tonight. Tomorrow morning, I'll send you to the Mixed Origin Martial Hall to practice martial arts. Lu Chengsheng said as he pushed open his own room door. Ah, Ning Yu was startled and quickly said, but I want to follow young master. Why follow me? Lu Chengsheng turned back, finding it strange. The reason he intervened was simply that Ning Yu was suffering because of him, so he just lent a hand. He certainly wouldn't take a burden with him. I can serve people, and also for young master, you. Ning Yu blushed. The words, warm the bed, were ultimately difficult for her to utter. What's the use of being able to serve people? When you're out and about, you need strength, otherwise you'll always be a nobody. Do you want to be a nobody? Lu Chengsheng retorted. 13. 4 simulations, the 6th level of the Taiku Dragon Elephant technique. Yu doesn't want to be a nobody. Ning Yu thought for a moment and replied seriously. So, young master wanted her to practice martial arts to take control of her own destiny. Young master was truly painstaking. Young master saved her from the sea of suffering, cleared her name of rumors, and even allowed her to control her own destiny. She absolutely could not disappoint him. Then that's settled. You rest tonight, and first thing tomorrow morning, I'll send you to Mixed Origin Martial Hall. You must cultivate diligently there. Lu Chengsheng patted Ning Yuyu's shoulder. It was fine until he patted her. Ning Yuyu's stomach rumbled immediately. Ning Yuyu was instantly mortified, wishing she could find a hole to crawl into. Lu Chengsheng pulled out a silver note from his Li and handed it to Ning Yuyu. I'm hungry too. Go to the Fuyun restaurant across the street and order all 10 of their signature dishes for me. No, order 3 portions of each, and have their waiter deliver them to the escort agency. All right, young master. Ning Yuyu took the silver and ran out, her face flushed. After Ning Yuyu left, Lu Chengsheng found a clean spot and sat down cross-legged. He couldn't waste the time while waiting for dinner. Lu Chengsheng's current strength was entirely due to him spending the time others used for Tian cultivation. After all, as the ancients said, an inch of time is worth an inch of gold. Current balance, 275,386 gold. Do you wish to start the simulator? Each use consumes 100 gold. The 270,000 gold represented 270,000 taels of shining silver. These were Lu Chengsheng's gains from the Wang family today. However, it wasn't all of his gains, because he still had 50,000 taels of silver notes on him. But such a large sum could only be fully exchanged for silver at a large city's bank. So, his total gain was 320,000 taels of silver. As expected of Yuyang City's local emperor. Even after selling many secret manuals, treasures, and shops at low prices, he still had so much money. However, once the news of today's extermination spreads, the Dragon King gang and the demonic cult will definitely focus all their attention on me. My situation is not good. Lu Chengsheng frowned slightly, then took out a secret manual and smiled freely. It was precisely the true copy of the Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant Art. The Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant Art leads directly to the Great Grand Master realm. As long as he cultivates it to perfection, it would be enough for him to roam freely in Zhao. At that time, he would be a diner choosing dishes, not a dish on the table. What could the Dragon King gang and the demonic cult do to him? Simulate it fiercely. Consumed 100 gold, starting simulator. At 17, you annihilated the Wang family. From then on, your reputation soared, and the entire Zhao knew that a young prodigy had emerged in Yuyang County. The next day, you sailed down the river and destroyed Haishui's stronghold, offering the blood of the water bandits as a sacrifice to the souls of the escort agency members in heaven. It seemed that the demonic cult and the Dragon King gang wouldn't trouble him tonight, so he could get a good night's sleep. If any unexpected changes occurred in the simulator, he would probably have to flee overnight. Lu Chengsheng felt reassured. A month later, you arrived at an uninhabited nameless mountain range. You decided not to leave the mountain until you had cultivated the Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant Art to perfection. At 18, you successfully achieved initial mastery of the Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant Art. At 19, you diligently cultivated the Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant Art. At 20, your Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant Art successfully entered the second layer. At 28, your Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant Art successfully entered the third layer. At 42, your Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant Art painstakingly broke through to the fourth layer. At 53, your chi and blood began to decline, and the Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant Art stagnated. At 103, you died of old age. Simulation ended. You can retain one of the following. 1. Cultivation realm at 103 years old. 2. Cultivation experience at 103 years old. Dying of old age normally after breaking through to innate, can I live to be 103? Lu Chengsheng murmured. There were rumors in the cultivation world that innate martial artists lived for 120 years. That should be the lifespan achievable only by innate peak great grandmasters. In this world, similar to ancient feudal society, the average lifespan was already low, less than 40. Lu Chengsheng estimated that an innate early-stage practitioner living to 80 was considered long-lived, and living to over 90 without illness or disaster was considered dying of old age. Lu Chengsheng living to 103 in the simulator was definitely a long-lived elder. Of course, this was also because he had always lived in seclusion, rarely fought, and did not have too many hidden injuries in his physical body. I choose 1. As Lu Chengsheng made his choice, countless Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant Art cultivation experiences flooded into his mind, And his physical body also developed a simple and heavy sensation, with defense increasing by several tenths and physical body strength doubling. The Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant art primarily focuses on body refining, with a total of 13 layers. The 7th layer corresponds to the innate early stage. The Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant art at the 4th layer was equivalent to a martial artist at the inner chi realm middle stage. Although it increased Lu Chengsheng's strength, it was far from a world-shaking change. But this is only the first time. Keep going. At 30, your Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant art successfully cultivated to the 5th layer. At 103, you died of old age. The Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant art reached the 5th layer. Continue. You diligently cultivated the Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant art in the nameless mountain range. At 103, you died of old age. Choose one. You diligently cultivated the Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant art in the nameless mountain range. At 46, your Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant art cultivated to the 6th layer. At 108, you died of old age. Finally, I've cultivated to the 6th layer. It's just that the improvement speed is getting slower and slower. The first simulation directly improved to the 4th layer, the second to the 5th layer, and the 4th simulation only improved to the 6th layer. Lu Chengsheng shook his head slightly. It was a recognized fact in the cultivation world that body refining cultivation techniques became more difficult the further one progressed. Even in the simulator, the difficulty still far exceeded Lu Chengsheng's expectations. He hadn't even reached the 7th layer, the innate realm of body refining, and it already took several simulations to advance one layer. In the future, there would likely be long periods of stagnation. According to the True Secret Manual, the 7th layer was the true starting point of the Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant art. Because starting from the 7th layer, the unique dragon elephant power of this cultivation technique would gradually awaken. 7th layer. Awaken the power of one dragon elephant. 8th layer. Awaken the power of 2 dragon elephants. 9th layer. Awaken the power of 4 dragon elephants. Each layer was double the previous one. By analogy, the 13th layer would awaken the power of 64 dragon elephants, allowing one to contend with a great Grand Master undefeated purely through brute force. However, according to the current simulation progress, it would probably be difficult to awaken 64 dragon elephant powers even after using up all 270,000 gold. It seems that next, he would have to change his cultivation method in the simulator. Since pure secluded cultivation was too slow, he would try joining other forces. After all, Lu Chengsheng had done this before. Didn't he acquire the 6 layers of vermilion bird true art from the demonic cult? Previously, seeing that the Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant art was too precious, and venturing into the Zhonggu could easily attract others' covetousness and lead to disaster, Lu Chengsheng chose to live in seclusion and diligently cultivate in an uninhabited place. Now, in order to speed up his cultivation progress, it was understandable to try some risks. If the simulation attempts ran out and he couldn't even break through to Grand Master, then Lu Chengsheng would truly have something to say but didn't know whether he should. 14. Unreliable force. Young Master, the food is ready. At this moment, Ning Yuyu entered the courtyard with 5 waiters from Lucky Inn. Each person carried 2 heavy food boxes. Young Master, with so many dishes, can we finish them all? Ning Yuyu looked at the array of food boxes, her face filled with worry. Following Lu Chengsheng's request, she had ordered 3 portions of each of Lucky Inn's 10 signature dishes, totaling 30 portions. It cost a grand total of 53 taels of silver. She used to hear that wealthy people would only touch each dish once with their chopsticks when eating. Now, she had witnessed it firsthand. But wasn't this a bit too wasteful? Ning Yuyu muttered to herself. You might not be able to finish, but I can, Lu Chengsheng said with a slight smile. He had the waiters place the food boxes beside the stone table under the willow tree in the courtyard. Then, Lu Chengsheng sat on the stone stool, opened the food boxes, and began to devour the food. His Great Antiquity Dragon Elephant art had just been elevated to the 6th layer, leaving him with an intense feeling of emptiness in his stomach. It was said that martial artists who specialized in body tempering had large appetites, and innate body temperers could even eat an entire ox in a day. It was precisely because he considered this point that he had Ning Yuyu order 30 portions of dishes. Now, it seemed he was indeed correct. Beggar's chicken, supreme fish head, stir-fried prawns with oil, flaming fragrant duck. No matter which dish, when it reached Lu Changsheng's mouth, it was swallowed in 2 or 3 bites, even the bones were chewed and swallowed, leaving Ning Yuyu wide-eyed and dumbfounded. Burp. Lu Changsheng patted his stomach, let out a satisfied burp, and said to Ning Yuyu, "It's getting late. Just find any room to rest for the night." Ning Yuyu nodded, looking a bit wronged. She had thought there would be plenty of the 30 portions left over for her to eat her fill, but she never expected the young master to only leave her half a fish head in the end. What kind of monster was the young master? Ning Yuyu touched her half-full stomach, wanting to cry but having no tears, and pouted as she went to find a room. However, not long after, she came back to complain to Lu Changsheng. "Young master, these rooms don't even have a bed, not just no bed, they don't even have a piece of cloth." "Yuyu," Lu Changsheng said earnestly, "you're going to cultivate tomorrow morning. Do you know what's most important in cultivating? It's being able to endure hardship. Tonight, you'll just lie on the floor. This is a trial for you, understand?" "Oh." Ning Yuyu left, seemingly understanding but also not. Although she felt something was off, she still chose to believe the young master's words. "It's so easy to fool young people," Lu Changsheng sighed. At this age, they were innocent yet foolish, easily tricked into becoming beasts of burden. Lu Changsheng didn't need any beasts of burden, he just wanted to live a carefree life, but he couldn't stop them from offering themselves. Returning to his room, Lu Changsheng lay on the ground, spread out in a big shape. Did you think he was going to rest? No, this was just the beginning. If he didn't stay up late, how could he call himself a young person? Continue the simulation for me. This time, he planned to join the demon sect and use their resources to cultivate the great antiquity dragon elephant art. Furthermore, he currently only had the first 6 layers of the vermilion bird true art. Switching cultivation techniques was too troublesome, so if there was an opportunity, he would also acquire the complete vermilion bird true art. Open black lens bracket cost 100 money, simulation begins, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket at 17, you are already an innate martial artist. After annihilating the Wang family, you went to Li River a second time and destroyed Haishui stronghold, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket on the 3rd day, you returned to Yuyang City, waiting for people from the demon sect to approach you, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket that night, the demon sect's Suzaku Honored One found you. Before she could even make a move, you expressed your willingness to offer the great antiquity dragon elephant art and join the demon sect, which surprised her greatly, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. After all, the demon sect was infamous in the Jianggu, reviled by everyone, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. However, Suzaku Honored One did not ask further. After taking the great antiquity dragon elephant art, she took you to the demon sect's headquarters. She wanted to recommend you, a young prodigy, to the demon sect leader, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Half a month later, Suzaku Honored One brought you to Tieshan Mountain in Yuzhou. You descended a hidden tunnel, and after navigating a complex underground labyrinth, you met the demon sect leader, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The demon sect leader's expression was indifferent. Just as he was about to say something, his face suddenly darkened, and he asked where you obtained the vermilion bird true art on your person, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You said you found it by chance in a cave. The demon sect leader determined you were lying and performed a soul search on you. You died, close black lens bracket. Lu Changsheng was dumbfounded. The vermilion bird true art was in the demon sect's vermilion bird hall, and anyone could exchange for and cultivate it with contribution points. It should be normal for the cultivation technique to occasionally leak out. There was no need for the demon sect leader to make such a big fuss, right? And even perform a soul search on him. The more Lu Changsheng thought about it, the more he felt something was wrong. Was there a problem with the demon sect leader, or with the vermilion bird true art cultivation technique? Or was it both? Open black lens bracket. Simulation ended. You can retain one of the following, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 1, the cultivation realm at 17 years old, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 2, the cultivation experience at 17 years old, close black lens bracket. Lu Changsheng chose 1. This simulation period was too short, only half a month, and the increase in strength was almost imperceptible, but even a mosquito, however small, was still meat. It seems I can't go to the demon sect. I'll try joining the Dragon King gang. The Dragon King gang has also had their eyes on the great antiquity dragon elephant art for a long time. Using it as a stepping stone might yield good results. Open black lens bracket. You arrived at the Dragon King gang headquarters. When you presented the great antiquity dragon elephant art, the Dragon King Shangding was alarmed by you. He received you with high honors and appointed you as the leader of the Dragon King gang's Sanhei City branch. Close black lens bracket. Indeed, the demon sect was full of lunatics. Choosing a righteous faction was much more normal. Open black lens bracket. 3 days later, you officially took office in Sanhei City. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The thousands of gang members in Sanhei City were not convinced by you, a branch leader parachuted in from headquarters. You used both soft and hard tactics, taking several months to barely subdue this group of local strongmen. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Afterward, you began to diligently cultivate the great antiquity dragon elephant art using the resources of the branch. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 20, your great antiquity dragon elephant art made some progress. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 34, you heard that the gang leader's great antiquity dragon elephant art had reached the 7th layer. You couldn't help but sigh, wishing you were the gang leader. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. At 35, due to a territorial dispute, Shangding challenged the giant whale gang leader to a duel at Tianshui Lake. The two sides fought for 3 hours, and ultimately, the giant whale gang leader died on the spot, while Shangding returned severely wounded. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 3 months later, Shangding succumbed to his severe injuries and died. Shangding 2 sons both wanted to become gang leader. Amidst their internal strife, chaos frequently erupted within the Dragon King gang. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. During this process, the elders and branch leaders in the gang took sides. You, too, were forced by circumstances to side with the first young master, who had a stronger foundation. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. 3 months later, the second young master defected to the imperial court. With the court's help, he successfully became the new gang leader, and the first young master's faction was purged. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Seeing the unfavorable situation, you seized the opportunity to escape and were subsequently wanted by the Dragon King gang. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You fled into Goose Mountain, living a reclusive life, your cultivation making no progress. During an accidental outing, you encountered the Dragon King gang's third elder. After 10 moves, you were killed by his palm. You died. Close black lens bracket. 15. Spreading branches and leaves, Alexander Dumas is actually myself. Lu Chengsheng was speechless. He only wanted to cultivate the great antiquity dragon elephant art properly, but then another internal strife drama came along, making him surrender prematurely. However, this time it proved that joining a faction and using its resources to feed oneself was a viable path. In the simulator, Shangding, the Dragon King, took over 10 years to cultivate the great antiquity dragon elephant art to the 7th level. On one hand, it was due to his foresight, and on the other hand, the vast resources he enjoyed were equally indispensable. As a helmsman, the resources Lu Chengsheng enjoyed were definitely far less than Shangding's. Next, continue. This time, Lu Chengsheng didn't plan to go to the Dragon King gang, he decided to directly join the imperial court. The imperial court was an all-powerful existence in Zhao, and Zhonggu forces could not contend with it at all. It's good to enjoy the shade under a big tree. Lu Chengsheng decided to try his luck. At 17, you traveled to the capital of Zhao. You offered the great antiquity dragon elephant art and received a reward from the imperial family. You successfully became an imperial family gongfeng, receiving a considerable amount of cultivation resources every month. At 20, your great antiquity dragon elephant art had made some progress, but there was still a long way to go before reaching the 7th level. You began to doubt whether you were a trash in the physical body Dao. Was he hit hard? Lu Chengsheng's eyelids twitched slightly. At 27, you decided to temporarily suspend the cultivation of the great antiquity dragon elephant art, wanting to first improve your true chi strength. You asked the imperial family's old ancestor if he had any fire attribute cultivation technique recommendations, and he recommended the blazing cloud art to you. This cultivation technique can be cultivated up to the Grandmaster realm. You asked him how this cultivation technique compared to the demon sect's vermilion bird true art. The imperial family's old ancestor said it was only slightly inferior. You then asked how much this, slightly, was. The imperial family's old ancestor reluctantly said that the previous Grand Master who cultivated the blazing cloud art was killed by the demon sect Suzaku Honored One with 3 palms. You remained silent for a long time, deciding to continue to delve deeper into the physical body Tao for now and not rush into switching cultivation. At 30, a rebellion broke out in Yangzhou, and the imperial court sent you to follow the army to suppress it. At 32, the rebels were successfully suppressed. During this process, you were injured at your foundation by a master among the rebels, making it difficult for you to achieve much in the martial Tao. Indeed, the imperial court's salary is not that easy to earn. Lu Chengsheng sighed slightly upon seeing this. At 33, given your stagnant cultivation, you purchased a property in the capital and began to marry and have children, taking 7 wives and concubines in 2 years. Is this how he degenerates and begins a playboy life? Lu Chengsheng was slightly displeased by this. If it were him in reality, let alone a damaged foundation, even if his cultivation was completely fey, he would not degenerate like this. Forget it, let the him in the simulator enjoy it. At 38, you already had 15 children. You placed your hopes on your children. Under your careful guidance, 1 son and 1 daughter showed martial Tao talent far exceeding their peers. The son was the 2nd oldest, named Lu Jia, and the daughter was the 7th oldest, named Lu Linger. At 48, your eldest son came of age, and you began to arrange his marriage, marrying into a powerful family in the capital. The following year, your eldest grandson was born. At 49, your 2nd son, Lu Jia, was devoted to the martial Tao and unwilling to marry, so you let him be. At 50, Lu Linger's sword Tao talent was extraordinary, and she successfully became a disciple of an elder on Sword God Mountain. You were greatly comforted. At 52, you had 23 grandchildren. In the same year, Lu Jia stepped into the innate realm, and his cultivation progress then began to slow down significantly. At 53, Lu Linger went down the mountain for experience and unfortunately encountered demon sect disciples, falling off a cliff. You were depressed upon hearing this news, and Lu Jia even resolutely left home, vowing to avenge his 7th sister. You were very worried about Lu Jia's safety, so you secretly followed him. 7 days later, Lu Jia arrived at Eagle Cliff, where Lu Linger had fallen, but was ambushed by a group of demon sect disciples. At a moment of extreme danger, you suddenly appeared. The father and son worked together and successfully killed all the enemies. Afterward, you and Lu Jia searched for many days at the bottom of the cliff but still could not find Lu Linger's body. Helpless, you had no choice but to return home. At 54, Lu Linger suddenly appeared before you, and you were overjoyed. You learned from her that she had fallen into a hidden cave halfway up the mountain that day. Inside the cave was a secluded valley with many spirit medicine that were several hundred years old. After consuming them, her strength greatly increased, and she only left after breaking through to the innate realm. Lu Linger also brought back a special spirit medicine for you, a 500-year-old vermilion fruit. The vermilion fruit itself has the effect of reshaping bones and enhancing aptitude, and a 500-year-old vermilion fruit has even more astonishing effects. After you consumed the vermilion fruit, not only did your foundation recover, but your martial Tao aptitude also further improved. At 57, your great antiquity dragon elephant art successfully broke through to the 7th level. At this time, you were already old, and your chi and blood began to decline. You couldn't help but lament that if you had eaten the vermilion fruit 30 years earlier, there might have been hope for the great antiquity dragon elephant art to break through to the 8th level. The vermilion fruit is a good thing. It seems that Eagle Cliff is a place worth visiting. Lu Chengsheng's eyes lit up. Treasures that can enhance martial Tao aptitude are rare. Any one of them appearing would cause a bloody storm in the Jianggu, not to mention a sacred object like the vermilion fruit, and a 500-year-old one at that. Eating this would significantly speed up cultivation. What a money saver. At 57, your 19th grandson showed extraordinary martial Tao aptitude at the age of 10. You were very surprised and had him become a disciple of a grandmaster old ancestor of the imperial family. At 65, your grandson successfully stepped into the innate realm. You learned from him that the demon sect leader was suspected of breaking through to a realm above Grandmaster, and the imperial family was on high alert. At 66, the demon sect leader single-handedly entered the imperial palace. It is unknown what he discussed with the imperial family. The next day, the emperor declared the demon sect the state religion during the morning court, causing an uproar among the righteous path throughout the land. At 67, many local forces rebelled under the banner of cleansing the ruler's side, and Zhao became increasingly chaotic. As one of the imperial family's Gongfeng, you began to frequently take action. At 70, Zhao was in turmoil, showing signs of impending downfall. You were injured by a grandmaster expert among the rebels. The imperial family, acknowledging your meritorious service, allowed you to return home to retire, but your children had to serve the imperial court. At 74, Lu Jia died in the chaos, and you were heartbroken. At 75, the demon sect leader emerged from seclusion and swept across the land with invincible strength, suppressing all rebellions in just 3 months. However, Zhao suffered heavy losses, and its national strength was greatly diminished. At 78, your direct descendants already numbered 324. Among them, Lu Linger had the highest realm, possessing Grandmaster realm cultivation. The Lu family had already become a major prominent family in Zhao. One night, your old illness recurred. Even the most skilled divine doctor in Zhao could not save you. However, you had no major regrets in this life, and you eventually passed away with a smile. You died. Lu Chengsheng sighed after reading, feeling that he had established a large family in this life and could be considered a successful person. However, the geniuses among his descendants broke through to the innate realm as easily as eating and drinking, while he himself had toiled for several lifetimes in the simulator, only barely breaking through with the help of the mad demon pill. It seems his martial Dao aptitude was indeed quite ordinary, which further strengthened Lu Chengsheng's resolve to obtain the vermilion fruit. 16. Yi Jin Shi Mero, is this a bug of the card simulator? Simulation ended. You may keep one of the following. 1. Your cultivation realm at 78 years old. 2. Your cultivation experience at 78 years old. Choose one. This time, he successfully cultivated the great antiquity dragon elephant art to the 7th level in the simulator, so he naturally chose one. Subsequently, Lu Chengsheng clearly felt a powerful force surge from an unknown place within his body, flowing along his meridians, through his limbs and bones, and into every inch of his flesh. This powerful force was incredibly overbearing, violently tearing his physical body's muscles, then healing them, and regrowing them, over and over again. Each time the muscles tore, the pain intensified, and after several repetitions, Lu Chengsheng became a bloody mess, constantly letting out low roars. The great antiquity dragon elephant art recorded that the 7th level was a watershed, where the power of the dragon elephant would transform the body, and the process would be a little painful. This felt like being subjected to slow slicing, and they called it a little painful. Creator of the cultivation technique, come out here, let's see if I dare to beat you to death. Lu Chengsheng cordially greeted someone's ancestors in his heart. Soon, Lu Chengsheng's consciousness began to blur. When he woke up the next day, Lu Chengsheng found a layer of blood scabs on his body, mixed with a lot of black impurities. His torn muscles had all healed. He stretched out his 5 fingers, closed them into a fist, and a power nearly twice as strong as yesterday filled his entire body. The joints of his fist and fingers made crisp cracking sounds like popping beans, which were exceptionally pleasant to hear. The 7th level of the great antiquity dragon elephant art cultivates 1 dragon elephant's strength. The dragon elephant here is naturally not the dragon elephant from myths and legends, but rather allows the cultivator to possess certain dragon elephant characteristics, such as limitless strength. 1 dragon elephant's strength means 10,000 caddies of immense power. An ordinary innate early-stage martial artist, in terms of physical body strength alone, only has about 1,000 caddies. The vermilion bird true art that Lu Chengsheng cultivated was of superior quality, far surpassing most innate cultivation techniques, allowing his strength to reach about 2,000 caddies. The first 6 levels of the great antiquity dragon elephant art each increased his strength by 800 caddies, bringing him a total of 4,800 caddies of strength. In other words, the original Lu Chengsheng had a total of 6,800 caddies of physical body strength, and now, having gained 1 dragon elephant's strength, his physical body strength reached an astonishing 16,800 caddies. Below the innate realm, he could flatten someone with a single slap. Even an innate expert would be severely injured and vomit blood if they took a palm from him. If he cultivated to the 13th level, possessing 64 dragon elephant's strength, Lu Chengsheng could hardly imagine who could withstand such power. Perhaps only the demon sect leader who had broken through beyond the great grandmaster realm in the simulator. The changes brought by this simulation were far more than that. Lu Chengsheng's inner vision revealed that many impurities in his meridians had been cleared out. Slightly circulating the vermilion bird true art, he could complete a major circulation in just 1/3 of the time it used to take. In other words, his cultivation speed had increased threefold. This effect was undoubtedly quite astonishing. The great antiquity dragon elephant art doesn't say that this cultivation technique has the effect of marrow cleansing, does it? Lu Changsheng was puzzled despite his joy. Could it be? He suddenly thought of something and quickly opened the simulator. You spent 3 months finding the location of Eagle Cliff and successfully entered the secluded valley. You consumed the vermilion bird fruit, and your martial Dao aptitude improved. You used the spirit medicine in the secluded valley to cultivate the great antiquity dragon elephant art, and your great antiquity dragon elephant art made progress. Half a year later, you used up all the resources in the secluded valley and chose to leave. Outside the secluded valley, you encountered demon sect members who were searching for something. After you killed all of them, you left swaggering. 2 months later, you were captured by the White Tiger Venerable of the demon sect. He tortured you to death. Only before your death did you realize that the people you killed outside the secluded valley earlier were from the demon sect's White Tiger Hall, and the White Tiger Venerable's only grandson was among them. You died. I choose one. As a warm current emerged, many more impurities were expelled from Lu Changsheng's body. After the warm current dissipated, Lu Changsheng felt his cultivation speed increase by more than double again. In other words, his cultivation aptitude had increased by more than 4 times compared to the beginning. It was indeed the improvement effect of the vermilion bird fruit on aptitude from the simulator being brought into reality. Since improving aptitude in the simulator could be fed back to reality, it meant that he had the potential to become a peerless genius. This made Lu Changsheng find another broad path. If I get treasures like vermilion bird fruit and marrow cleansing pill in the future, and use them multiple times in the simulator, won't I just take off directly? Is this considered exploiting a bug in the simulator? Lu Changsheng was in a great mood. He seemed to have already seen his future self, who could become a great grandmaster with just one simulation. Pushing open the door, the sky outside was already bright. Ning Yuyu also walked out of her room, rubbing her eyes sleepily. When she saw Lu Changsheng covered in blood, her eyes widened and she said, "Young master, why are you bleeding so much?" Lu Changsheng gave her a sidelong glance and said irritably, "Go fetch me a few buckets of water. This young master wants to bathe." "That, young master, I think we should go find a doctor first." Ning Yuyu hesitated. Lu Changsheng glared at her, and she felt a chill rush to her head, immediately running off to fetch water. But she quickly returned, looking aggrieved, "Young master, there are no buckets." "Never mind, I'll just jump into the well directly." Lu Changsheng waved his hand, and under Ning Yuyu's astonished gaze, he went directly to the well in the backyard and jumped down. Ning Yuyu poked her head into the well, and a pillar of water suddenly sprayed out from below, soaking all of Ning Yuyu's hair. Lu Changsheng's voice also came from the well. "Naughty girl, don't peek." After about 2 incense sticks of time, Lu Changsheng jumped out of the well again. At this time, the bloodstains on his body had been washed away, and his soaked clothes, under Ning Yuyu's surprised gaze, emitted bursts of white mist and were quickly dried by true qi. Is this what a martial Dao expert is like? I want to become like young master in the future. Ning Yuyu felt a strange anticipation for cultivating martial arts in her heart. Thump, thump, thump. At this moment, a rhythmic knocking sound came from outside. Ning Yuyu ran to open the door and found a group of constables standing outside. "Oh, young master, the government sent people to arrest us, run quickly." In Zhao, commoners seeing officials were like mice seeing cats, avoiding them at all costs. When Ning Yuyu saw so many constables outside the door, her first reaction was that yesterday's incident had been discovered, and the government had come to arrest them, so she ran inside in a panic. The constables outside the door also panicked when they heard this, and quickly followed her in. The bearded man leading them immediately shouted, "Miss, you've misunderstood." As soon as he entered the courtyard, the bearded man saw a white-clothed youth smiling at him. "Officer Li, have you come to demand an explanation today?" 17. Money delivered to your door, power in the world. Li Dou's forehead broke out in a sweat, and he quickly waved his hand, saying, I wouldn't dare. Yesterday, young Master Lu solved a case involving the sale of women, which is a great service. How could our yamen seek to punish him? Bring the items over. Li Dou said to one of his constables. A young constable immediately presented a wooden box with both hands. Li Dou opened it, and Lu Changsheng clearly saw that inside was the head of the Golden Phoenix Brothel's madam. This woman had several murder cases on her, and she was brought to justice on the spot last night, Li Do said respectfully. In addition, our Yamen discovered that the Golden Phoenix brothel had been engaged in the evil act of abducting and selling women, forcing them into prostitution, for a long time, so we simply sealed it permanently. From now on, there will be no more Golden Phoenix brothel in Yuyang City. Your government has finally done a good deed for the people by eliminating a menace, Lu Chengsheng said indifferently, closing the wooden box. This is what we should do. Li Do automatically ignored the sarcasm in his words and kept smiling apologetically. Then, he clapped his hands. Outside, constables immediately carried in large iron boxes. The large boxes were opened one by one, all filled with gleaming silver, making Ning Yuyu's eyes go wide. There were 9 such boxes in total. Young Master Lu, there are a total of 30,000 taels of silver here. 27,000 taels of it are the proceeds from confiscating the Golden Phoenix brothel. I heard that you like silver, so the county magistrate specially converted all the ill-gotten gains into silver and sent them to you, sir. The other 3,000 taels are a reward from the county yamen for your resolution of the case involving the sale of women. These are just a small token of the county magistrate's regard, and I hope young Master Lu will accept them. Li Do cupped his fists and bowed. Seeing that Lu Chengsheng remained silent for a long time, Li Do hesitated, then stepped forward and whispered, the Golden Phoenix brothel's backer was the registrar in the county yamen. After he heard about this matter, he immediately requested County Magistrate Yan to seal the Golden Phoenix brothel, and he himself has already retired and returned to his hometown. He's a smart man, indeed. Lu Chengsheng smiled and waved his hand. All right, I am very satisfied with these things. You may leave. After leaving Guangsheng Escort Agency, Li Do wiped the sweat from his forehead. Lu Chengsheng had slaughtered the entire Wang family just yesterday, and standing before him, the pressure was simply too immense. Especially for a few young constables, their legs were trembling. After the Yamen's people left, Lu Chengsheng smiled and said he wanted to perform a magic trick for Ning Yuyu, then coaxed Ning Yuyu into the room. When Ning Yuyu came out again, all the silver in the 9 iron boxes had disappeared, making her exclaim in wonder. This silver, of course, had been deposited by Lu Chengsheng into the simulator. He had simulated 8 times last night, consuming 800 units of money. Now he had an additional 30,000 units of money, and he still had 50,000 taels in silver notes. He couldn't spend it all, simply couldn't spend it all. Afterward, Lu Chengsheng took Ning Yuyu to Fuyun restaurant for breakfast. At this point, Lu Chengsheng once again displayed his astonishing talent for eating, keeping the restaurant's dozen or so chefs so busy their hands were smoking, before finally concluding the meal. This meal cost him 125 taels of silver, but for him now, it was a small sum. After the meal, Lu Chengsheng finally took Ning Yuyu to the Mixed Origin Martial Hall, which she had been curious about all night. Lu Chengsheng had interacted with the Mixed Origin Martial Hall in the simulator. The atmosphere there was decent, without too much scheming, and as long as enough silver was given, the martial hall could indeed impart some true skills. Shen Kai, the master of Mixed Origin Martial Hall, hearing that Lu Chengsheng had arrived, quickly came out personally to greet him. At Shen Kai's enthusiastic invitation, Lu Chengsheng entered the hall as a guest and had a long and pleasant conversation with Shen Kai. From Shen Kai, Lu Chengsheng gained a general understanding of the Zhonggu forces in the current Zhao. Sword God Mountain, Dragon King Gang, Jin Fo Temple, and Godly Blade Sect were the first-rate righteous forces. The evil faction was propped up by a single demon sect, with the rest being minor, insignificant groups. In addition, the giant whale gang in the northern region had also risen abruptly in recent years, with a strong momentum, showing potential to become a first-rate gang. As for the Zhao imperial family, it remained aloof. As long as it wasn't provoked, it generally wouldn't interfere with Zhonggu affairs. Of these forces, Lu Chengsheng had dealt with all except Jin Fo Temple and Godly Blade Sect. The Zhao imperial family and the demon sect go without saying. The giant whale gang also should not be underestimated. The future Dragon King gang's decline was due to it. The demon sect's strength, I wonder where it ranks among the various forces. Lu Chengsheng put down his teacup and asked as if casually. Shen Kai replied without hesitation, the demon sect's 4 venerables are all Grand Masters, and the demon sect leader, Shi Jian, is one of the top Grand Masters. Furthermore, there are over 20 innate experts and tens of thousands of demon sect disciples, distributed across various states. In terms of a single force, the demon sect ranks only below the imperial family in Zhao. However, Shen Kai smiled, the combined forces of the entire righteous faction far surpass the demon sect, and the Zhao imperial family frequently suppresses the demon sect. The demon sect can only hide like rats in a gutter, never able to stir up any significant trouble. Lu Changsheng, however, did not think so. In the simulator, decades later, the demon sect leader successfully broke through beyond the Grandmaster realm. At that time, his demonic might was unparalleled, and he alone suppressed the heroes of Zhonggu and the imperial family, making them unable to raise their heads. Thinking of this, Lu Changsheng tentatively asked, "Does Brother Shen know if there are other realms beyond innate?" Shen Kai was stunned by the question, then smiled and shook his head. A Grandmaster at the peak of innate is already the limit of human power. I, Shen, have lived for over 40 years, and I have never heard of anyone being able to break this limit. Is that so? Lu Changsheng was somewhat disappointed. It seemed that even if Shen Kai had established the mixed origin martial hall for many years and was well informed, such secrets were clearly not something he could know. Realizing he wouldn't gain any more useful information, Lu Changsheng entrusted Ning Yuyu to him, then bid farewell and departed. Ning Yuyu stood at the entrance of the martial hall, bidding farewell to Lu Changsheng, her eyes brimming with tears. After this separation, she wondered when they would meet again. Before leaving, Lu Changsheng had also specifically left her 100 taels in silver notes. As the saying goes, poor in literary arts, rich in martial arts. These 100 taels of silver would probably only be enough for Ning Yuyu for 2 or 3 years. But as long as she entered the martial Dao, supporting herself would not be difficult. Lu Changsheng was merely a guide, he wouldn't support her indefinitely. How she would walk her future path would be up to Ning Yuyu herself. In the county yamen, Li Do was reporting to County Magistrate Yan Quan in the back hall. "Sir, the matter has been carried out as you instructed. Has the silver been sent out?" "It has been sent out, he has accepted it all." "It's good that he accepted it." Yan Quan put down the official document in his hand and breathed a sigh of relief. "Sir," Li Do hesitated, wanting to speak but holding back. "If you have something to say, say it. You've been working for me for many years, why are you still acting like a shy maiden?" Yan Quan turned to look at Li Do, frowning slightly, a hint of displeasure. Li Do quickly said, "Sir, I just have one thing I don't understand. Although Lu Changsheng is an innate expert and very powerful, we are, after all, people of the imperial court. Why do we still have to curry favor with him so much? Registrar Lu even retired and returned to his hometown because of this. 18. Am I really a Buddhist genius?" Yan Quan picked up his teacup, took a sip, and shook his head, saying, "The official robes we wear are just a facade. They might earn us a little respect from those seasoned Zhonggu veterans, but they hold little deterrent against hotheads who would casually wipe out an entire family. As for that old fellow Lu Song, he had no hope of promotion anyway, and he'd already accumulated enough for his coffin over the years. His resignation and return home now are just a way to gracefully step down, going with the flow. It's quite a wise choice, actually. So that's how it is. This subordinate understands." Li Do retreated. Not long after Li Do left, a white pigeon flew in through the window and landed on Yan Quan's desk. The pigeon was no different from an ordinary white pigeon, but when it cooed, its tongue was yellowish-green. This was the demon sect's unique yellow spirit pigeon. Yan Quan took a note from the pigeon's leg, read it, frowned, and immediately burned it with fire. Then he wrote a new note and tied it to the pigeon. After the pigeon flew away, Yan Quan looked out the window, a slight curve on his lips, and murmured, "Bait isn't that easy to swallow." Li River. It is one of the largest tributaries of the Kangjiang River. It connects Liangzhou upstream and Shuzhou downstream, flowing through the entire Qingzhou in between. With the flourishing river transport on the Li River, there were naturally many river bandits along its banks. The 13 Bandits of Lianyan was the collective name for the 13 most famous bandit strongholds on the Li River. Haishui stronghold was one of them. It was also the closest one of the 13 bandits of Lianyan to Yuyang City. At this moment, Lu Changsheng was sitting on a fast boat, rapidly heading towards Haishui stronghold. Lu Changsheng sat inside the cabin, while 2 middle-aged boatmen, bruised and swollen, were rowing outside. "It's not easy," Lu Changsheng, inside the cabin, sighed with emotion. Initially, when he said he wanted to go to Haishui stronghold, out of 100 boats at the entire dock, not a single one was willing to take him. Later, after Lu Changsheng's reasoned persuasion, two unlucky fellows, oh no, two boatmen reluctantly agreed. At this boat's speed, it would only take about 2 hours to reach Haishui stronghold. 2 hours, which is 4 hours, was too long for Lu Changsheng to remain idle. He wanted to dedicate all his free time to cultivating. On the path of cultivation, diligence and self-discipline are the true Tao. Simulator, simulate for me. Consumed 100 money, remaining 304,586 money. Simulation begins. At 17, you wiped out Haishui stronghold. You used the blood of hundreds of river bandits to pay tribute to the souls of the deceased guard escorts. Afterward, you began searching for the location of Eagle Cliff. 3 days later, while searching for Eagle Cliff, Suzaku Honored One found you. You voluntarily handed over the great antiquity dragon elephant art, hoping she would spare your life. She refused. She said that a peerless genius like you, if not joining the demon sect, would surely become a major threat to the demon sect in the future. You had no choice but to feign agreement. Suzaku Honored One was very happy about this. She personally took you to Tishan Mountain to meet the demon sect leader. You knew that you would surely die upon meeting the demon sect leader. Along the way, you played along with Suzaku Honored One, gaining her trust, while also looking for an opportunity to escape. On the night you approached Tishan Mountain, you finally found an opportunity, but you had barely escaped 10 li before Suzaku Honored One caught up. After tying you up like a zongzi, she took you to meet the demon sect leader. The demon sect leader sensed the Suzaku true energy on your body, his face darkened, and he questioned where you obtained it. You said it was passed down by a heavily injured demon sect senior. The demon sect leader asked for that person's name and appearance, but you couldn't answer. He performed soul searching on you, and you died. Simulation ended. You can retain one item. 1. Your cultivation realm at 17. 2. Your cultivation experience at 17. It seems Suzaku Honored One still hasn't given up her malicious intentions. Lu Changsheng casually chose 1, feeling a bit depressed. Previously, the demon sect had only set its sights on the great antiquity dragon elephant art. This time, they were targeting him personally. It's all because I'm too outstanding. Indeed, excellent people shine everywhere. Lu Changsheng sighed helplessly. Again, however, this time he needed to be more cautious. Consumed 100 money. Simulation begins. At 17, you wiped out Haishui stronghold, using the blood of hundreds of river bandits to pay tribute to the souls of the deceased guard escorts. Afterward, you disguised yourself and, through various secret channels, inquired about the location of Eagle Cliff. Half a year later, you successfully arrived at Eagle Cliff. You discovered that demon sect disciples were searching for something near Eagle Cliff. You did not alarm them but instead quietly found the entrance to that secluded valley under the cover of a dark and windy night and entered it. You consumed a 500-year-old vermilion fruit, and your martial Tao aptitude improved. Thereafter, you used the spirit medicine in the secluded valley to cultivate the great antiquity dragon elephant art. At 18, your great antiquity dragon elephant art improved. At this time, the spirit medicine in the secluded valley was exhausted, and you chose to leave. Outside the secluded valley, you encountered demon sect disciples. You did not get entangled with them. Since you didn't know who was White Tiger Venerable's only grandson, you only injured them before quickly leaving. Afterward, you traveled west and arrived at Jin Fo Temple because you learned from Shen Kai that this was the school in Zhao most skilled in body refining. Jin Fo Temple's rules were strict, only recruiting young novice monks under 12. Even if you were a genius, you could not make these rigid monks make an exception. After 3 months of futile pleading at Jin Fo Temple, you finally donated 30,000 taels in incense money. The eminent monks of Jin Fo Temple were finally moved by your sincerity over these 3 months and agreed to accept you as a disciple. Damn it, what strict rules. So it turns out it's all about money. Lu Changsheng rolled his eyes inwardly. You hypocritical bald donkeys. You dare to extort money from me, huh? Just wait and see how I fleece you dry. At 20, you were ordained at Jin Fo Temple as you wished, becoming a probationary monk. Afterward, you began carrying water and chopping wood with the secular disciples, tempering your hard nature. Cultivating Buddhism prioritizes hard nature, and even a genius like you is no exception. At 23, you passed Jin Fo Temple's hard nature test. Abbot Weaning bestowed upon you the Bhikkhu precepts in the Grand Hall, granting you the Dharma name faming. You finally became an official monk of Jinfo Temple and were qualified to enter the scripture pavilion to select Buddhist cultivation techniques. You told the abbot that you wished to pursue the body-refining lineage. Abbot Weining recommended the golden bell cover to you. At 25, you successfully cultivated the golden bell cover to the perfection realm. Great Master Wei Tong, the head of the Arhat Hall, was astonished by your body-refining talent and accepted you as his personal disciple, imparting to you the Arhat divine skill. The Arhat divine skill is a body-refining cultivation technique 10 times more profound than the golden bell cover, capable of being cultivated up to the Grand Master realm. At 26, while diligently cultivating the great antiquity dragon elephant art, you also concurrently cultivated the Arhat divine skill. At 27, your Arhat divine skill reached minor achievement. At 29, your great antiquity dragon elephant art made further progress. At 32, your Arhat divine skill reached major achievement. You were comparable to a martial artist at the innate middle stage. Looking at the talent he displayed in the golden bell cover and the Arhat divine skill, Lu Chengsheng was a bit confused. Could it be that he truly had an affinity with the Buddha? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. It must be that the foundation laid by the great antiquity dragon elephant art was too solid. His cultivation speed in Buddhist cultivation techniques would definitely slow down in the future. 19. Zisui Jing, Master of Horizontal Training. At 35, your great antiquity dragon elephant art entered the 8th layer, and your strength increased. At 37, you felt the progress of the great antiquity dragon elephant art was too slow, so you decided to specialize in the Arhat divine skill, hoping to break through to the Grand Master realm before your chi and blood withered. Alright, it seems I'm going further and further down the path of Buddhist cultivation techniques. Lu Chengsheng just said he had no affinity with Buddhism. But the him in the simulator slapped his face with a resounding sound. Damn it, it's not necessarily that his Buddhist talent is strong, it's very likely because the great antiquity dragon elephant art is too difficult to cultivate. Only when the cultivation progress of the two were compared did it seem that his talent in Buddhist cultivation techniques was extraordinary. Lu Chengsheng remained stubborn. At 38, the notorious bandit Tian Guang snuck into the scripture pavilion, attempting to steal a divine skill, but you captured him in 3 moves. Everyone marveled at your strength, and the abbot even specially rewarded you with a marrow cleansing pill. You outwardly appeared very happy, but inwardly, you were not calm, because you learned from Tian Guang that Jinfo Temple possessed a body-tempering divine skill that could be cultivated to the Grand Master level, named Vajra Indestructible Divine Skill, and Tian Guang even mercilessly mocked you, saying you would never have the opportunity to cultivate it. The next night, you took the marrow cleansing pill, and your martial Dao aptitude slightly improved. At 45, your Arhat divine skill successfully cultivated to perfection, and you became a body-tempering Grand Master. Your master, Great Master Wei Tong, was very pleased and said that after his nirvana, he would pass on the position of the Arhat Hall's head disciple to you. You seized this good opportunity to ask if you would be qualified to cultivate the Vajra Indestructible Divine Skill in the future. Great Master Wei Tong was surprised that you knew of this cultivation technique, then shook his head and said that this skill was the foundation of Jinfo Temple, and only those who simultaneously met the 3 requirements of pure birth, top-tier aptitude, and top-tier hard nature were qualified to cultivate it. You did not meet any of the 3 requirements, and thus were not qualified to cultivate this skill. In fact, your master, Great Master Wei Tong, was also not qualified to cultivate the Vajra Indestructible Divine Skill. You were very disappointed, and dangerous thoughts brewed in your mind, but you knew that Jinfo Temple had a Grand Master presiding over it, so you could not use force. You had to abandon the idea of forcibly taking it and refocus your energy on the great antiquity dragon elephant art. At 47, your master, Great Master Wei Tong, passed away, and you succeeded him as the new head disciple of the Arhat Hall. You became qualified to cultivate the Marrow Cleansing Sutra. The Marrow Cleansing Sutra is one of Jinfo Temple's foundational divine skills. Only the heads of each hall and the Buddhist disciples are qualified to cultivate it. It has the effect of slowly improving aptitude. Theoretically, if a person with ordinary aptitude only cultivated the Marrow Cleansing Sutra from a young age, by 80, there's a high probability they could raise their aptitude to the level of a peerless genius. But this only exists in theory, because a martial artist cannot possibly cultivate a cultivation technique that doesn't enhance strength for their entire life. Even if they specialized in it until 80 and became a peerless genius, their chi and blood would already be greatly diminished, making it difficult to achieve much in the martial Dao. Therefore, this sutra holds an awkward and very useless position in Jinfo Temple. Good heavens, this is useless to others, but for me, it's a divine skill no less than the great antiquity dragon elephant art. Lu Changsheng was overjoyed, even more excited than when he saw his simulated self break through to Grand Master. This cultivation technique was tailor-made for him. Others lacked time, but he didn't lack time at all. As long as he simulated a few more times, wouldn't peerless aptitude be easily within reach? At 50, your great antiquity dragon elephant art made some progress. At 59, your great antiquity dragon elephant art broke through to the 9th layer. At 61, your chi and blood began to decline, and the progress of your great antiquity dragon elephant art stagnated. You began to specialize in the marrow cleansing sutra. At 66, the demon sect became the state religion of Zhao, causing an uproar among the righteous path. The high-ranking members of Jinfo Temple even cursed it as a betrayal of the heavens. However, because it was rumored that the demon sect leader had broke through to above an 8, no righteous path force dared to challenge his might. At 67, there were rumors in the Zhonggu that the demon sect leader had broke through using a blood sacrifice method, leaving behind significant hidden dangers, and was now in seclusion healing. The righteous path began to stir, vigorously supporting various local feudal lords to restrict the demon sect's development. At 69, the world was in great chaos, and the people suffered, but the chaos could not affect Jinfo Temple. You continued to cultivate the marrow cleansing sutra peacefully. At 70, a demon sect Grand Master revealed his whereabouts near Jinfo Temple. The new abbot, Fa Liang, dispatched the Arhat Hall to resolve the hidden danger. You led the team out and encountered the Grand Master in Qingyang town. You used brute force, beating him to death in 10 moves. Your name once again spread throughout the Zhonggu. At 74, due to your long-term cultivation of the marrow cleansing sutra, your aptitude improved. At 75, the demon sect leader emerged from seclusion and massacred the righteous path forces. In this martial forest catastrophe, you died at the hands of the demon sect's new generation Qinglong Venerable. You died in battle. Finally, I can break through to Grand Master. A smile appeared on Lu Changsheng's face. Simulation ended. You can keep one of the following. 1. The cultivation realm at 75 years old. 2. The cultivation experience at 75 years old. I choose 1. In an instant, a large amount of information flooded Lu Changsheng's mind, and his body also violently vibrated. His muscles and internal organs became incredibly dense at a terrifying speed. Beneath his skin, a thick layer of membrane appeared, making it difficult for sharp weapons to penetrate. As Lu Changsheng's body changed, the entire fast boat began to shake, greatly affecting the boat's speed. The two boatmen rowing looked at each other, wondering what madness the gentleman inside was up to. Judging by the commotion, could he be doing that kind of thing inside? The two wanted to stop him, but seeing the still healing bruises on the other's face, they ultimately chose to keep quiet. They dared not say anything, dared not ask anything. Their main characteristic was being timid. The entire boat shook for a quarter of an hour before finally stopping. The two boatmen felt like they were numb from the vibrations. They inwardly exclaimed, "That gentleman is too fierce. Such a big commotion, and it lasted so long, truly a divine being." The two went from fear to admiration. A body-tempering Grand Master is indeed formidable. Lu Changsheng, feeling the explosive growth of his strength, was extremely excited. The perfection of golden bell cover, Arhat divine skill, plus the 9th layer of great antiquity dragon elephant art, together brought him a colossal force of 100,000 catties. Adding his previous base strength of 16,800 catties, his current strength reached a terrifying 116,800 catties. He now felt that with one punch, he could punch a gap in the city walls of Yuyang City. In addition to strength, his body's defense also increased several times. Even if he stood still now, martial artists below an 8 would find it very difficult to harm him. Martial artists above an 8 would also need to wield divine weapons and sharp weapons to barely cause him serious injury. Of course, this was only when he didn't activate his protective chi shield. Both the golden bell cover and Arhat divine skill had protective chi shields for the body. Once Lu Changsheng activated them, martial artists below Grand Master would pose virtually no threat to him. Even if dozens or hundreds of innate experts below Grand Master surrounded and attacked him, he could wear them down to death. In the simulation, Lu Changsheng, whose chi and blood had already begun to decline, still beat a demon sect Grand Master to death within 10 moves. Now, in the prime of his life, he would be even more terrifying. In short, the current Lu Changsheng was by no means a weakling among grandmasters. 20. Monk's Relics, Great Opportunity. Besides the changes in his strength, Lu Changsheng's cultivation aptitude also changed significantly. In the simulator, he first consumed a 500-year-old vermilion fruit, then took a marrow cleansing pill given to him by the abbot of Vajra Temple, and finally, with over 20 years of marrow cleansing sutra foundation, his cultivation aptitude directly increased by more than 2 times. One must know that the further one progresses in aptitude, the harder it is to improve. The first time he ate a vermilion fruit, it increased his aptitude by 3 times. The second time he ate a vermilion fruit, it only increased it by a little over 1 time. Now, this increase of more than 2 times is already significant, bringing his total aptitude to 7 times that of an ordinary person. Lu Changsheng did not know how many times faster a peerless genius's cultivation speed was compared to an ordinary person. But his current aptitude, even if not a 1 in 10,000 peerless genius, was definitely a 1 in 100 or even 1 in 8,000 prodigy. It's still early, continue simulating. I just don't know if, with my current talent, I can cultivate the great antiquity dragon elephant art to the 13th layer in the simulation before reaching Haishui stronghold. Thinking of this, Lu Changsheng immediately became interested. After all, challenges are what make things fun for those who enjoy them. Detected that your realm has broken through to the innate middle stage, 1 simulation consumes 800 gold coins. Detected that your realm has broken through to the innate late stage, 1 simulation consumes 5,000 gold coins. Do you wish to use the Dao simulator immediately? You can raise prices like that, huh? Lu Changsheng stood up with a thump, hitting his head on the canopy above and creating a large hole. The 2 boatmen looked back, then continued rowing as if nothing had happened. It's broken, so be it. The fierce man's expression was not good, perhaps he hadn't enjoyed himself just now. It's better not to provoke him. Lu Changsheng had already prepared for a price increase, but 2 such large increases almost made him turn into an Azurian. Did your simulator go to Goose Factory for further training? The price increase is so exaggerated. Lu Changsheng had previously thought that 300,000 gold coins would last a long time, but now it seems he thought too much. These can at most simulate about 60 times. When he breaks through to become a great grandmaster at the innate peak, who knows what price it will rise to. Simulator, are you trying to force me to become a notorious bandit and go around robbing money in the future? Lu Changsheng seemed to see through the essence of the simulator. If that were truly the case, Lu Changsheng felt it would be quite troublesome. He was a true gentleman. Even if he starved to death, even if he jumped off this boat, he would not become a bandit who preyed on others. HMPH, don't even think about challenging my principles. The current gold coins can last a few more days, no need to rush for now, continue simulating for me. Consumed 5,000 gold coins, remaining 299,586 gold coins, simulation begins. At 17, you wiped out Haishui stronghold. 3 months later, you found the location of Eagle Cliff, you ate the vermilion fruit, your martial Dao aptitude slightly improved. Before it was improved, now it's slightly improved. It seems the effect of the vermilion fruit is getting weaker and weaker. Lu Changsheng shook his head repeatedly upon seeing this. Fortunately, he still had the marrow cleansing sutra, otherwise, his martial Dao aptitude might truly stagnate. Another month later, with your Grandmaster realm strength, you quickly exhausted the spirit medicine in the secluded valley, then you chose to leave. Outside the secluded valley, you encountered disciples of the demon sect's White Tiger Hall. At this time, you no longer feared White Tiger Venerable, so you captured all of them alive and severely interrogated them about what they were searching for. Yongkai, the sole grandson of White Tiger Venerable, accustomed to a life of ease, was the first to succumb to your torture. He told you that the high-ranking members of the sect had somehow learned that a high monk from the Great Qin dynasty had passed away somewhere within 100 li radius. To obtain the high monk's relics, the high-ranking members mobilized thousands of disciples to search everywhere. You were very interested in the relics, so you crushed the other disciples to death, only leaving Yongkai, and disguised yourself as his attendant, staying by his side to provide you with the latest intelligence from the demon sect. At 18, there was no trace of the high monk's passing place. At 20, the demon sect disciples still hadn't found any clues. At 23, just as you were about to leave, a team of demon sect disciples from the Xuanwu Hall discovered the high monk's remains in a secret passage on Zuogong Mountain. You rushed there at the first news, and through a sneak attack, successfully snatched the high monk's relics from Xuanwu Honored One, which were an ancient book, a sarira, and a string of prayer beads. You didn't have time to examine them closely. After getting the items, you fled frantically. As soon as you escaped Zuogong Mountain, the terrifying figure of the demon sect leader blocked your path. He struck a palm at you, and you died. These relics of the high monk are definitely extraordinary. Lu Chengsheng's eyes gleamed. The demon sect spent such a huge amount of manpower and resources, and even the demon sect leader was constantly paying attention to these items, so how could they be ordinary? Perhaps, the reason the demon sect leader was later able to break through to beyond innate was because of the great opportunity within these high monk's relics. Of course, with Lu Chengsheng's current strength, trying to snatch something from the demon sect leader was like snatching food from a tiger's mouth. He still needed to improve his strength. Simulation ended. You can retain one of the following. 1. The cultivation realm at 23 years old. 2. The cultivation experience at 23 years old. Choose one. As he made his choice, he felt his aptitude only increased by a little, about 0.3 times. On the other hand, his strength increased significantly, by over 12,000 jin. It seemed that his simulated self, although constantly searching for the high monk's relics, did not neglect cultivation too much either. Again, next, I will fully focus on improving the great antiquity dragon elephant art. Lu Chengsheng knew well that only by breaking through to Great Grand Master would he be qualified to snatch things from the demon sect leader. Consumed 5,000 gold coins, starting simulation. At 17, you ate the vermilion fruit at Eagle Cliff, and your cultivation aptitude slightly improved. At 18, you pledged allegiance to the Zhao dynasty imperial family. As an 18-year-old Grand Master was too shocking, you only revealed your innate early-stage strength. At 19, you diligently cultivated the great antiquity dragon elephant art. At 25, your great antiquity dragon elephant art made some progress. At 29, you revealed your innate middle-stage cultivation, and the resources the imperial family gave you each month doubled. At 33, your great antiquity dragon elephant art made some progress. At 37, you revealed your Grand Master cultivation, and the resources the imperial family gave you each month doubled again. At 45, your great antiquity dragon elephant art successfully entered the 10th layer, and your strength surged. At 63, your chi and blood began to decline, and you began to specialize in the Marrow Cleansing Sutra. At 66, the demon sect leader broke through the limits and reached beyond innate, and the demon sect became the state religion of Zhao. At 69, you went to Yuzhou to suppress a rebellion, were besieged and killed by 3 Grand Masters from Sword God Mountain, and you died in battle. Finally, the 10th layer. It seems that the improvement in aptitude can indeed greatly accelerate the progress of cultivating the great antiquity dragon elephant art. Moreover, this time his martial Dao aptitude increased by more than another time.